all over it.
Oh, it certainly has the pedigree and then some. But the proof's in the pudding, and we're about to dive into this. So on the attacking side, EDG, of course, meaning G2 on the defense.
Look at this. They've dodged the recon dart at the beginning. This shows that they're pretty aware of how Trent likes to play over towards A main. It should be unexpected, and they can jump onto him as soon as they take contact.
Trent gets to keep his life here. Looks like he's trying to back towards A. He was looking like he was indecisive, and he's punished on that. Effective trades, at least for now, until nobody tips the scales. Sight looking somewhat secure, but the spike did get dropped. So the plant should be on the cards next.
This is going to buy time for the rest of G2 to get close. Jorg flashes out immediately.
Spike planted.
They don't have much more util for the retake.
Yeah, looking for that reposition towards Art here. Two of them posting up in this post-plant. Chichu dedicated towards the site, but G2 starting to take those steps, trying to be bold about it. Chichu, the first contact made. Jorgamo clears. Jonah P bringing it all down to Smoggy! What is that for a beginning?
That's a 1v3 that shouldn't be happening. What a way to open. If that's a taste of things to come, we've got a treat before us. Red Bull clutch coming out in a way that I feel like G2 should have been able to trade this kill. The final shot, though, through the box, that one's beautiful.
Bloody hell.
And he does isolate the duel onto Jonah P wonderfully, doesn't he? They need, I think, heroes today, EDG, because, for starters, on Pearl, they're playing a composition that is a little new to them. They're playing against a meta leader in G2. Despite the fact that they've got the tape advantage and they can do some anti, as you saw in the pistol round, I mean, that was a very specific to G2 kind of pistol they pulled out. They're gonna need heroes to step up, I think.
And luckily for EDG, they got them in droves here, but see how this lands. I want to see this kept clean. G2 can certainly get under the skin, but for now, that's lovely. Kung the one to really kick this off, but still, this is looking wrapped up with a bow. Very nice. Yes, they lose out on 2, but a round secured.
Oh my god, that is filthy from Kung as well. I don't even know how he saw the second player that he flicked to.
I'm sure we'll get that one back. I need it in a replay.
Yeah, that is disgusting. I know that it's just an anti-eco couple of kills, but look. God, that's fast. And I think we should be paying a lot of attention to Kung's Yoru, because it's not something he's played a lot of, and it seems like they're pretty heavily indexing into it. And he's going up against Jorgamo, who looks like a second skin. Yoru, he's so comfortable in everything he does on that.
Time to jump.
Natural talent. But Kung, again, it's great seeing this guy put with a question mark towards him. We know what he can do in those traditional roles. Now, forced to adapt and overcome, and so far, passing the test, at least in the early stages. Here, Leaf can be forced away. Early pressure through towards doors.
They're so aware of where Leaf wants to play, and now they've completely isolated Jonah P.
And Bren was kind of discussing that on the desk as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Leaf here. How much room can he bring to the plate? But again, this is a pretty deadly round, even in the hands of EDG, with those 2 rifles there. Simon and Kung can be the ones to watch. Close choke point being controlled. Jonah P, good for it. Leaf as well secures that push through, but the split's still on the way.
It is, but they managed to reinforce for the moment. And Leaf, he misses one shot, looks to finish off with the classic.
Yeah, this is lovely. Again, Kung's still alive. There's always a threat, but I want to see G2 look robust in this, look very refined in their approach, but Kung's having none of what they're trying to sell. Already going to take away Leaf, and there is a Vandal with Smoggy. They're not out of the woods just yet. Jorgamo does succeed in his fight, leaving it down to 1 man. This would be outrageous. Oh, that's a start, but 30 HP is so little to play with. Valen and Trent surely have got enough for this one. Half achieved, and Valen there makes it hard work, though. G2 with their first.
It would have been simply revolting if EDG had managed to win this round in another 1v3. But it feels like that kind of game where we're going to have to be paying attention in case the players pull that kind of stuff out. The quality is there from any of them. The help came incredibly late for Jonah P, but it did eventually arrive. But my eyes are looking to the other side of things. Both Yorus now have their ults online, and EDG can craft some kind of fast, aggressive play. Take a look towards nobody's utility as well to see whether Kung somehow plays off the back of that. And do they dodge the recon dart at the start again, like they did on the pistol?
Too much given away so far. Kung
Who's next?
taking a ticket out, but opting to then pivot straight through middle. So this will be, again, Leaf potentially under pressure, but there is a Full of players on this side of the map, and actually Kong wants it. He
No
fancies
way.
it.
No
Go!
way.
He's read him like a book. Left open. And red from start to end, and now advantage looking good towards the side. There's still 3 players here from G2, and Jorgamo wants this back as well. Where on earth is he going to go in this?
He repositions over towards A main. He's done this a couple of times in Americas. It's so difficult to play against.
This is outrageous from Jorgamo, trying to get right behind them. Gets away with 1, but he's made this at least a bit of a contest. But the numbers still so good for EDG. Plant on their side. Valorant not clean enough, and EDG stamping authority on this. Jonah P can make a go of it, but a 1v3 again. A lot to ask for, and Chicho doesn't want a bit of it.
Couple of spots there where the G2 players are losing duels. I mean, you pointed out, especially on Valen, he needed to be much cleaner to pick up that kill. But Jorgamo's repositioned into A main. The whole point of the, I mean, for starters, this is ridiculous. To pick up Leaf. He must have thought that Kankan was just about to spring out right in front of his face. He just misread the situation. But yeah, that reposition that Jorgamo goes for as well with his ultimate, the whole point of that is that you're supposed to be able to stay alive and be a constant threat that causes those post-plant players to have to look in both directions, and the retake comes as a crunch. When Jorg goes 1 for 1 there, it's actually not good. A little fortunate with Leaf going for that reposition too. That was a gifted kill to open the round up. You can call it a misplay from Leaf, I suppose, but he managed to provide them with a pick at the very beginning of the round, and now he's going for the push-up with Jorg, looking to see if he can make the difference, but only 4 bullets in the Headhunter.
That's a lot to put on the man's shoulders. Right place for it, and I do want to see this diligence from EDG and their anti-ecos. Do want to see them kept as clean as possible. Going to get past the first hurdle, plays in Jorg mode here. Nice flash, doesn't get what he wanted. A quick kind of evacuation at least for Kong. Going to keep his life. Yeah, a little chipped up, but still they've read this early play. They've already forced them back towards site.
It was a nice idea from G2, but you got to hit the shot.
Yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. There is a player still on the back of the site. Jorgamo still really trying to find those small opportunities to play with, but I think his life is over. It is. EDG, crystal clear on approach, looking very well-rounded. No threats to really be found. Flanks here, but it's already considered. Lovely stuff. EDG looking locked in here on the flawless round.
Chichu getting that kill with the wallbang also gets his Visal online, and that's how these snowballs happen. Round 4 off the back of a great bonus, even though they didn't get the win, they were able to get up the Yoru ult, and that caught them the next round, a huge eco swing round. And this time, it's a pretty similar situation, whereas in the previous hugely important round, we saw both Yorus with ultimates, and it was Jorg versus Kangkang. Now it's both of the Vice players with their ults online, and we're going to get to see that dynamic play out. The important thing about having Visal on the attack side, though, is that you need some level of map control to be able to use it effectively. You can see a lot of pings through the middle of the map here. EDG clearly planning on doing something with the Prowlers to take space, push Leaf back. It's that same bait and switch setup. And it's seen both of them.
Yeah, this feels quite red, and if anything, it spurs on and encourages EDG to take the space that has been given to an early denial of control there, removing Leaf's utility, and forcing them a little bit more into the unknown. Question marks now will be placed across the map.
They're creeping up towards where Trent is holding.
Timing on the out drone at least. Big info off of that. You can now see maybe a little bit more dedication on the rotation. Ult on top of ult here, so this is about to get rather messy, isn't it? Does EDG continue forward? Do they pause? It looks like Kong wants to go for it, which feels a little too bold for me, but a plant is being facilitated. But Jonah P still wants more. Still on the site. Still controlling the space, and G2 looking to try and pressure this as quick as possible.
They've also got full art control, nicely planted for art as well. Leaf needs to be a disruption in the flank, and it's shut down.
Oh, Chichu so on the money. Takes away Leaf, that removes one of the really viable approaches of holding this. Jonah P trying to stick through, at least get towards half, will take the damage, and Chichu taking names! EDG looking near on unstoppable.
They're playing so boldly too. You called it out. They were going forwards even though Kangkang didn't have a primary weapon to use. They just knew that if they get into a post-plant situation, they're going to be good for it. Full art control. Leaf, I feel sorry for him to some degree because he only had a stinger in that spot as well. It's not like you're going to be going on that big flank with the tour de force. But that is a wonderful round from Chichu. And EDG just keep the snowball going. They've got the read right now.
That momentum is looking lethal. I think a lot of us kind of, I don't want to say put it in the hands of G2, a lot of us very impressed with how they looked. I think a fair assessment. EDG, of course, these quick changes, obviously adapting to the new meta, showing that they have some validity, but hold on, okay, Jorg's gonna get G2. Bring a little bit of blood here, but still, KongKong once again leading in the Astra ult just to ensure this plant goes in, but does it, if anything, encourage G2 for a swing here? Yeah, it looks like it does. Having a little bit of a glance, nobody looking lost in God knows where, but KongKong back sight. Flash ready, he's going back for more. Jorgamo deals with him, making something out of this. Finally, a little bit of a fight back from G2. Simon playing those really dangerous odds, trying to play towards the back of the side, leaving just two alive. Nobody still towards Jorgamo. Denied on the defuse. That's not going to get towards half yet. Leaf going to be put under pressure. They've got to still do something about this, or do they just call their losses on this one? The defuse is there.
Leaf sticks it all the way through, tanks the damage, similar to Jonah P in the previous round. That is actually a really tough spot to play for EDG. So G2 recognize that this play is going into B. They're in a 5v4, and they're getting the masterclass thrifty at the end of this. Obviously, they've got lighter weaponry, but you've got two cosmic divides up. So what that means is EDG have to play on-site post plants, but that means that you're within range of the stingers, the sheriffs, those kind of things. So you want to take long-range battles, but you can't because of Valen's ultimate. And in the end there, they just got stuck between a rock and a hard place.
We got ults coming in. KongKong's got his. We've got nobody with theirs. We're going to have the operator out for Leaf. Already right off the rip, you've heard it going in. And it's pacey. They're not pulling any punches with this.
KongKong uses ult to be able to get into secret here. And then there's a little pause, waiting to see if there's a response from G2. They're running fast rounds when they think Leaf has an op.
Yeah, but they've got to identify where these players are. They are so stacked towards pit. Trent is looking to maybe play off what Jorg's going to get here, but they're going to have to do this together. Good synergy, it's there! Trent with a good pick towards Simon. Now the rest of G2 need to stay up to this sort of pace here. Finally, Jonah P going to get a clear kill, no trade. KongKong and G2 asked a lot of. G2 has been golden so far, and a big opportunity. Oh, he's still fighting! A huge 1v2. He knows about Leaf. Does he know about Trent still? 7 bullets, 17 HP, and a bit of a dream. But Trent can make this one all but over. All but tears in the rain. Trent trying to call him forward. G2, he answers the call!
This world will know my name.
That's another disgusting round from the EDG players. We've already seen a 1v3 from Smoggy earlier on. By the way, still the only kills that Smoggy has. And G2 pulls this one out of nowhere. His ability to isolate these fights is just sublime.
He's doing that against G2. He's making them look silly. We talk about fundamentals with G2. They're a team that's good on all of those basics. And he just divides and conquers. I don't know how the hell he's doing it.
And isn't that how EDG have found so much success over their time?
Oh, sick.
And that's similar to how he was playing at Champs. I think if KongKong had not dropped like a kill record in the BO5 to win Champions, I think G2 probably would have been the tournament MVP.
Bang on.
Would have had a bracelet on his arm. Got to be a bit annoyed at KongKong for taking that away from him, honestly.
How dare you?
Yeah, every time he sees KongKong wearing it, he's like, that's my jewelry you've got around your wrist, actually.
Human. This, I don't want to say it's a formality. We've seen rounds, but I've got to give credit here. EDG looking quite clean in these moments. There was obviously that conversion in the defuse that did come in, but a very tricky predicament. But as it stands,
that's a
bloody
beauty.
hell.
And remember, they won the Thrifty earlier by getting a very similar kind of pick. They got the kill on Chishu.
Okay. Paying attention. Show me a little something, G2. Give us a couple of signs of life here. This is your map pick.
They've got the stack completely in the right position. It's a super deep vice wall over towards A main from Jonah P. And Jonah's then jiggle peeking art. Allows 4 players to stack in the right spot. Nobody has led them into a death trap here.
He has. Go down with the ship though. G2 waiting. Reveal. Trent gonna find G2. This is looking like a slaughter. And it is! Trent and Valen line them up so easily. Mastercard Thrifty coming right on in.
And that's the second one for G2.
Yeah.
And this one, to some degree, less impressive than the previous, less chaotic. It was essentially just G2 having a right read, or at least a decent gamble, and EDG unfortunately falling prey to it. That's a crazy shot from Leaf to open. Well, maybe we'll see that same vice wall being played more from Jonah P though, because that was the information that allowed them to get that stack off. And EDG are going to have to be privy to that. It does look like he's going to go for it again.
Okay, like it. But dealing with these gun rounds has been a whole different ordeal. But I'm looking at them shouldering this for a little bit. No, Trent's had to have been sent away now. Jonah P.
The thing with this Vice Wall as well is that you don't really realize it's there. Because normally, you look at Kongkong's position, this is how you take A main. And you think you have A main control, but actually G2 know that you're not seriously pressing forward and looking to fight the angles. At least not yet.
Allow a little bit more support towards Trent if they do try and then springboard through Art, which has been a heavily contested part of the map here. Keep Leaf feeling a little bit more secure in this, allowing that exploration over towards B-Long as well for Jorgamo. So still got to deal with what's coming their way. It's all good and well planned, but it's going to be disconnected now. You're going to have at least a little bit of an isolated player towards main, but the wall's going to drop pretty soon. But the spike is being held off.
Soberall here as well, just to aim to deny the plan. Allow them to get in position with a retake. Decent damage done, and Jorg, he's actually threatening the flank here. He didn't commit to it.
Oh, back of the site though. Going to be bloodied by at least one, but the plant's in. But this feels really unstable. EDG can't play that comfortable post plant towards R. You're going to have Trent controlling over towards Pit, and this late presence by Leaf almost offsetting the timing. We know that Chichu's been winning this fight out more often than not, but this time Leaf's on the case. Simon, too many targets. This time G2 are able to play this back.
This time Jorgamo is able to threaten that flank action, pull eyes and attention without committing to it, without having to put his body on the line. And like you pointed out, Leaf just finds the perfect timing through Art. That's something he's gone for in prior rounds and been stopped. So this time all of the pieces worked. I love this as well. Good awareness from Trent, because that smoke allows you for some tricky timings through from front to back side.
Let's go.
Well played, well controlled.
Okay, they've forced a timeout from EDG. There's been enough rounds now. If you kind of look at the last four, 3 have gone towards G2.
Off angles, these kind of positions, and they kind of give you the offering of, come at us. Let's see if you can dismantle what we're going for. Another thing to point out though as well, Pansy, is that the ult cycle has stopped now for EDG. So whereas they had that momentum with big ults almost every round, they're not going to for these last 2 rounds of the half.
It looks so heavily focused again towards this middle approach. I think this is a pressure point they want to continue, at least implying that they want to follow in with. Once again, it's Leaf and Trent who'll be dealing with the vast majority of the early contact. Actually, Valorant wanted to join in on this and does very well. The additional body kind of removing some of that pressure on this. And it loses a lot of the punch now.
They might be tempted to go back through double doors. They haven't been contesting this too much, and they've been using a Prowler when they do, but Leaf's been paying attention to it. They have been favoring these A splits. It's what they found their value with.
Again, they've got the foot in the door now. They've got Art at the cost of vast majority of their util, but they've got now at least a step towards the site. But you can see a little bit of exploration, maybe trying to find where Leaf may reside.
And
Nobody.
Look at Leaf on the timing.
Like
Is anybody aware?
They've been having his number. This time he's got the drop on Simon, but it's going to cause at least Smoggy to now be in a bad position for him. It's rough. You've got Leaf behind, you've got 3, 4 players in front, but nobody is behind them. They have no... Oh, God! What an absolute nightmare! It's gone from, what could have been a dream to a waking nightmare in the end, and G2 are right back in this game.
Last round before the switch.
We'll just not talk about that one.
Give us the replay. Give us the replay. You know you want to.
I mean, that is so tragic because it's not just a whiff, it's a whiff that could have potentially turned that round on its head. I thought he was even going to play with a little more patience. He already had that killed, dead to rights, basically. Could have tried to get another and then swing back onto Trent. Yeah, that's the kind of play that just makes G2 even more confident than they were.
Okay, it's step by step, it's round by round, but G2 have suddenly turned what felt like an EDG masterclass into a very close affair. Pressure towards Long. This time going to force away Jorg.
Yeah, they're actually a little lucky that they forced him away there because I believe nobody didn't have the money to buy drone or didn't. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he got broken at the start of the round or something.
Yeah, but you don't expect that from Leaf. He's this time lent way deeper down after that contact towards Long. He's taking the space. They're reading the game well. Jorgamo gets picked out of the crowd, taken away. Sight looking like it's on the platter, but they don't like what they're seeing.
Obscuring vision.
No, G2 have been very fast with reinforcing the B site, and especially when you see this drone, you know that Trent's rotated probably all the way from A, right? That's where he's normally been playing, around mid, A, and Jonah P's position is just containing them. They know exactly where EDG are going to end.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but a missed shot for Leaf does give them at least a chance forward, right? Maybe a second go, but he fancies a second bite of the cherry. Big shot, nobody goes down, good trade. Valen falls, and step by step, the site's getting more and more EDG controlled.
Here comes Jonah.
Waiting for that eventual crunch, but they're looking towards it. Jonah P bides his time. We saw what happened with the Patience before. Does it strike again? But these two players can't fall here. Leaf can't go down. Trent can't go down. And EDG want to remove them, but the eventual close comes in. Jonah P, hold on, it's all on Jonah P. How has this turned around? Kung and Smoggy lean forward, take the fight to them, and put Jonah P in a 1v2. Looking for the first Smoggy, tucks in, he's gone down for the 1v1. Oh, what is that? Jonah P snaps up to Kung. A G2 suddenly with a new lease of life.
If you saw that from Kung's POV, we'd be looking at another whiff similar to Nobody's in the prior round. He was on his screen for 2 seconds, something like that. I mean, maybe we'll see it in the replay. I imagine they'll pull it instead from the Clutcher's POV, but that is a rough way to go out. Still, a 6-6 half is nothing to sniff at.
Looking at that, bloody hell. Oh, that could just bring that little bit of life to him. But still, before we go anywhere, we do need to check in for the Omen player moment with Jorgamo. Stick around, it's 6-6.
Diaz, that's what got them off to such a great start. By round 8, they already had all 6 of their victories.
Jumping, yeah.
They got a flash here for Kung to play off, the Vice flash.
Deploying drone.
Okay. Now drone in. Spots the flash. And it's okay. We were all excited about a flash, but apparently it's a mass go over towards A. I have no idea what's gone on there, but by the end of it, we are still down in a 3v3. Spike's still with Leaf, so they can at least move away from this, but Kung's timing could be incredible here.
Especially because they're going to get stalled out by this Vice wall. If it gets baited, or do they double swing over it? That's the only way of... Yeah, and now Kung's locked on the other side. Rough for Kung.
A little unfortunate, almost. Chichu, though, has been the headliner thus far, and it feels like he is going to get his moment. Kung is there, the wall just about dropping in time. Chichu a little bit forward on the flash, but does eat his teammates, but still going to know that they're going to be towards the back of the site. He's trying to buy his time. Playing Kung is labored, is Chichu to try and deal the blow, but look at the HP! It was messy, but EDG come out on top.
So another pistol round. Not necessarily off an incredible ante, but I mean, let's take a look at what happened over here in A main. Leaf had to try to clean it up. It's a bit weird from G2, actually. They were fighting over both extremities of the map at once. I wonder whether EDG had a bit of a read on that, because I mean, so were they. Either way, EDG come out with a good start to the half, and that's the same kind of thing that got the snowball rolling. You know, they're going to be able to build up economy. They're going to start to build up towards ults. I mean, specifically, Smoggy is the closest, and his is probably one of the best for retakes.
I'm not really going to harp on about the fact that EDG need like momentum and bits like that, but it feels good to come back into these sort of... What the hell? What the hell is that? Kung's got a ghost.
Spike down.
He's just
B.
chilling out there taking fights. Okay. Well, and Leaf have fun, I guess, for the rest of the round. But yeah, it's got to feel good for EDG after what was a very much a G2 flavoured end to the first half to come back in and reset that. Valen, nice try. And Leaf, the last one, dealt with EDG. Quick to it, full standing.
So much to do.
So on the pistol, G2, they were using their drone to apply a bit of pressure over towards B, and then they walked into A main. We'll see if EDG have a similar read themselves on what they want to do here. The bonus round is an excellent opportunity to start tipping that momentum back in your favor. We're already leading 8-6.
Yeah.
And this would be a huge scalp to take on map 1. Because Pearl, I think most people are thinking G2 are best in the world on that map.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair assessment. Incredible.
Four-player fight over A main. This is where they found the value before on the pistol. But this time, it's only Valen home. The rest of G2 just follow the drone over towards B.
And cautious steps, but it's G2 to fall. Leaf with the first. And that does cause problems. That's a massive amount of space now that is available to G2 that EDG will have to try and re-clear meticulously.
Yeah, I think I prefer Chishu playing his life a bit more in that situation. You know that your A main players haven't found anything. They've got to be towards mid or B, and you need to stay alive.
Whoa, Kung, why do I get nervous? There was a second when I felt like he could have had just God-given timing, but it does go the other way. And they look like they're going back towards B now.
That's a completely free site. EDG are just hoping that they fall back into their laps on the A. G2 are so slow. I mean, this reminds you back of more what they were doing in 2024, I think.
Yeah.
Concealment! Conceal
Again, caution being displayed here. There is, of course, that scoreline disparity. Not much, but you don't want to be making errors up against someone like EDG. You give them a chance, they will make something of it. And Leaf's the one to be going hunting here. Hearing these steps. Good chance to farm up. 3 away from ult currently. Ah, this is lovely timing for him. Crowd loves a bit of it. Yeah, oh, okay, all good, Leaf. All good for Leaf, lovely for him. Ult locked in, ready to go.
I'm wondering whether that's the best ult to get online. I mean, G2 are normally so min-maxing with how they play. Is your attack side chamber ult really the one that you want to be charging up in that spot? I don't know. But at least they completely denied Smoggy getting his ult online.
Plug it in.
Kangkang's pulling out the defense side operator here to start. And again, it's the same defensive setup.
It's 4-1. And now we've got a brawl on it. Okay, well. Massacre, potentially. Kangkang, yeah, didn't fancy it. Took the trip out of there, but Simon's now tucked in, and he's still fighting the good fight. I don't know how he even got one on that. Does get traded out, so G2 going to be continuing their pathway forward or pausing potentially. I'm looking at where Leaf gets to. Going to cause a couple of issues, keep those eyes turned across the rest of the map.
One suppressed.
Chichu doesn't have to really be that alarmed. The drone found Leaf, wasn't in front of the wall. But it has drawn a lot of eyes. I mean, all 3 players from EDG that are around mid were looking for Leaf. He's going to play his life and make sure he doesn't give it away too freely. G2 making the mass rotation. I think they've read that this is the same defensive setup as the previous round on the bonus. And EDG are not responding. They're expecting a re-hit. And this time, though, Chishu, instead of giving up his life, he wins the duel against Leaf. That's going to add a very different dynamic to the round.
Map is certainly not available. How does Chichu approach this? Does he want to try and get ahead? I think he knows that those vines were coming in, try to play a little in front, but Trent's going to punish, and now the plant's there. Trent, yes, down low, but much closer towards ult as well for him. But having to hold this in a 3v3 post-plant, going to be a little bit difficult. Playing it back in with Kangkang with that operator, not easy either.
No, they're not going to find very many opportunities. But this is a spot where G2 have got to be disciplined. Kangkang, he's going to start walking forwards, posting up on angles.
This is go time, surely.
Great smoke.
Keeps him secure for a second here. Jonah P able to kind of play around this, and he does have Valen by his side, but already, EDG, they're on the site here, all eyes towards Trent, but they've got to keep in mind there's players on the back of the site, and when Kangkang's alive, there's always a chance. And Trent going to go for the ult here. 5 HP, but time is the imperative factor, and he's played it to the second. Great work from Trent, and around to even the score line up.
Technically, the Red Bull clutch there for Trent. Shouldn't have gotten maybe as sticky as it did, but that's the power of EDG. Having said that, though, the fact that they went and committed to it takes the operator out of Kangkang's hands. There's only one rifle that's been saved from that. And if all 3 of those players that went for the retake had instead decided to save, yeah, they wouldn't have had the chance of victory. But they would also now have a much better chance heading into round 17.
This is where the pendulum swings. 8-8. Yeah, and EDG's money is absolutely just bin juice. It's Sheriffs and that Vandal there for nobody, but that's about it. And obviously Leaf, Voiceline kind of gives it away.
This push out into mid, I think, is rarely going to get something good. Oh, that is ridiculous from nobody. Okay, fair enough. Color me surprised, but also I'm very wrong about that.
Oh my god, Chichu trying to pull out the heroics there. It's a whole lot of information, but it is at the trade of his life. But rotation's on the way. EDG want to brawl on this one. It's still nobody is your danger man. The rest are down to Sheriffs, and Trent's clearing out. Kangkang's gone down, and EDG now dwindle in numbers. Plants in play, and time on their side. Don't know how EDG break these crossfires. Jorgamo doesn't want to let it happen yet. G2 put a bow on this round. Comfortable for them off that initial skirmish. Yeah, Leaf went down, but still a round's a round.
Now EDG, though, rifles are going to come back up. They're not going to go for the investment of the operator. They don't have the cash to be able to do so. But G2 are just very slow, very meticulous with the way that they're moving forwards around the map. Even in scenarios where we've seen them have full access to the B site, they've still been super cautious, waiting for EDG to be the one to take the initiative. It's frustrating to play against. It makes though against what G2 run, because in post-plant you're going to be trying to go through the thorns that are coming out from Jonah P.
Cutting through.
But I'd like to see EDG set up for some kind of setup like that. Instead of trying to win the fight in the first 20 seconds, see if you can win it in the post-plant.
Well, it's not quite the 4-play stack, it's 3 towards B. So G2, let's see if they go down that protocol list, right? Slow and steady. Showing some presence towards A, getting those ult orbs, and then just kind of slipping back into this default.
A's looking pretty weak for EDG currently. Reinforcing it with nobody for a moment. Kong goes for his second gate crash.
Again, it's patience being tested here. EDG probably love to have a little bit more influence towards the outcome of the tempo of these rounds, but right now it is G2's, and they're very aware of what Kong wanted to do. Heads on a swivel, and they even have mid-control to boot as well. Simon can be denied approach. Quick hop, skip, and a jump, and they're away. Nice try, a little late.
Who's next?
Okay, so trying to play back closer. I guess it's Leaf who's under pressure. We're going to have a couple of fights on a couple of fronts, but a couple of players trying to hold them back. But it's Simon to break through. Nobody denies Leaf, and suddenly the flood is onto... Oh, what? No way! Valorant! No! Goddamn way! He knows where Simon is. He absolutely knows. He can get the reload, but it's 30 HP with 20 seconds. I can't believe I'm witnessing this. This could be unthinkable if Valorant pulls this one off. Simon now, surely you're nervous. You're getting a little worried, but the time, surely the time, it's going to be enough. Simon keeps his cool and keeps EDG at level scorelines.
What a hero Simon is there. Shutting down Valiant at the end of the round, but also it was his flank coming out through Art, which was his responsibility to cover, all the way back into B Link. And it wasn't something that G2 were necessarily thinking about, that backstab play. EDG completely pinched them. Other than that, it was not looking like a great round for EDG there. They salvaged it. Talking about salvage, talking about scrap. And that is going to be their economy here. I mean, it looks like it's straight out of the junkyard.
They're trying to make it work, all right? We got a Judge, we got SMG's Guardians, bits and bobs. Why do I feel like EDG still might make it work really well, though? I don't know, this team just always seems to pull it together.
Well, like I said previously, whenever the defensive team has a Cosmic Divide, you can actually force those closer fights.
Simon trying to play on the angle here. A bit of a clear towards middle. Leaf not denied deeper information, but shows his hand. Top flash waiting, and Kung has a look, doesn't fancy it, but G2, they're on the way that time. Jorgamo gets denied, and they hold the site.
Leaf's just been watching mid the entire time, wondering if somebody's going to go for that push. Smoggy with a Judge is sat on the other side of things. If Leaf creeps in here, surely there is no way that the G2 player is going to come out on top.
Surely, right? Yeah, okay, Smoggy. The doors are his. No one's getting past.
30 seconds left.
Now kind of forced in towards this B site. Still util here, so only 25 seconds. This is going to get really, really tricky. Time being bought. They got to go for this one. Trent just gets slung back around. I don't know how the hell that's happened, but Trent, Valen, and Jonah P going to try and make something out of nothing. 13 seconds. They're running too low on time. They have so little to play with. They can put a body to this. They can make sacrifices happen. They have the numbers, and overwhelmed, EDG take back the lead.
2 enormous rounds in a row there for EDG to be able to put themselves in a decent position. And their weaponry coming into this round looked so abominable, and that shot is incredibly crucial. You get killed with a Guardian, one tap at the beginning of the round. Smoggy finding his value over towards double doors, begging someone to walk through towards him, and eventually plays out.
They got ults as well. Lards to bank on, only one away from Simons too. This is starting to look like it's flipping around, but G2 still an opportunity to fight back, but their money's not in a great place either. I'm looking at Trent here. Sheriff in hand so far, and that's about all she wrote.
G2 have been putting quite a lot of pressure over towards B. Even when they take A main control, they are ending B a ton. And honestly, it hasn't been working that well.
Uh-oh. Nice little checkmate towards Long, gonna keep that control and keep the information very much in EDG's hands.
My ult is
The
ready.
retake ultimates are fantastic here for EDG. Got the Cosmic Divide. Kang is going to be able to take info, space, and everything with the Dimensional Drift, so you don't have to hard anchor over towards A. You can run some kind of mid-crunch.
Jonapi's gone down there. Yeah, quick hit and run for Kang, gonna find him. And can just fall off this one. It feels like G2 are a little bit lost on the way in now. Still gonna have Leaf towards middle, who's trying to find them a bit of room, trying to pull these players over. Pull a bit of a fake, try and have some of that misinformation free-flowing, but I'm still worried about someone like Simon's positioning coming in. Someone like Smoggy's position. These are all still very strong, big information here. It's all about timing for Simon now.
Bring them down.
And he's got a bit of a bite on that one. He's got the ult to play on too. It's 30 seconds. They have no idea. He's got flashed out though. He's completely out of it. Valorant clears, but it's back to the wall. Valorant, they got to make a go of this. And right about now, stall out towards the site. They want to buy time. Leaf's got to barrel towards middle with Kang, but they need that plant down. Leaf wins his fight. G2 onto the site, and the plant's there. Are they going straight for this? They are. Jorgamo, he won't be denied this time, but he's stuck on the site. Valor bails him out. The 1-2 punch. G2 this time pivot late round, leaving Smoggy in a near-on unwinnable scenario.
It does feel like G2, in terms of their macro, are a little lost. Now, Smoggy, we saw the 1v3 earlier, but a 1v4's too much. It is too much. The score even. I would agree with your comment earlier that it does look like G2 are a little bit lost in the macro. You saw in this round, Leaf trying to push his luck over towards R, but it's this kill onto Simon, and the flash in particular that lands perfectly and causes him to cower behind the box. That's what makes the difference here and allows them into the site. If Simon had been able to slow them down, then it would have been a very different story. G2 are trying to find the gaps, EDG are making it difficult, but at some point, they're still able to brute force it. Big fight in mid and not on an eco, maybe a bit more unexpected. Now they're backed off.
Yeah, I was feeling there's commitment to that, but they're going to get a bite on the Prowler, but it's still going to be Kang waiting over towards this three-play side of the split there. Decides to take the quick evacuation out. Smoggy the next to be tested. Doesn't fall foul for it, but it's still going to get his man. It's Simon now to try and post up on this, but he's got pressure on two fronts. The split and the timing is absolutely divine for G2, but Kang is still around on this site. And if this man is here, there's always a potential. There's a flank on the way as well. Nobody clearing through. That's a lot of space that he can confirm has nobody present.
Yeah, Jonah P's dead, so that wall is not active.
He is quick, isn't he? Kang is under threat, though. They can't dig him out of this pit. They really can't. They're buying time with the ults. There's a lot of problems here for G2. 47 seconds, and the flank's coming in. Nobody makes his presence known, and the spike gets dropped again.
Tony's down.
He should have landed the death blow here. Trent forced out into the open, and Valin left with the spike to scatter. He might be able to find the route over to B, actually. The round may not yet be dead for G2. Left. But it's gonna have to require something monstrous.
Alan, have you got that in you right now? Let's do you know what?
He nearly got the 1v5 ace earlier, didn't he?
I'm
Had
a
to be
believer.
shut down by Simon. Simon's not alive. The logic's all there.
It all makes sense now. I don't know why I doubted.
Hello. He gave up on it.
Yeah, didn't fancy it. Got a bit nervous. Obviously, we know where they are. He got a little bit scared on the timing, but they are taking their time. Kang does have that operator, but nobody in Chi-Chu going to come back in with those Vandals. And with that Walnut trip, the site feels small. Valen doesn't have many options. Does get to evade on the first. Not sure if he got spotted here, but Kang going to lead the way. Eye to the scope. Takes away Valen, and EDG post up 11.
It is so difficult to play back halls against a Taeho in that spot. You can put the Taeho missiles in a number of different positions and you just know exactly where a player is going to reposition to. What a play by nobody. And actually, what great credit we should be giving to the rest of the team for delaying, for causing pressure, and allowing nobody to get that timing.
And talk about a pivotal bit of timing. Look at where the money's going to be broken here for G2. This, I want to say, should be 12 by all rights. You're looking at them kind of considering Stingers, Guardians, what they want to bring into this. Couple of ults to play with. They have options, but it's far from perfect.
It's going to be so tough for them to ever go over towards B as well against Kang's operator. The two players at the top of the scoreboard holding down B. G2 going to go 4, 5 through the B link.
God. It looks kind of like it. Jorg's going to be towards the back of the site, so going to clear a lot of space here, but look towards Long. Look at how this is almost flipped around. Chi-Chu's up towards it. Nobody on the flank. It's Smoggy this time to take down Jonah P. Jorg's still here. These are Stingers. They can't take these long-range fights. They want them to get close, but this is uncomfortable.
They are going and clearing out spawn, so they own a little bit of the map, but it's not really planning for there, and like you said, Stingers.
Oh, this is so uncomfortable here. Valen trying to find a little bit of a corner to play from, but they are everywhere! But Valen does well, takes away one. Trent chimes in, but EDG... Wait, Valen, I thought you got a little techie on that one. What on earth? How are G2 winning this out? Nobody! How has this happened? G2, you had no right to win that!
Trent gets 3, but I'm more amazed by Valen being able to survive in his position. How has he managed to get one? He hopped up over the top. I mean, look, he dives inside the smoke, hops up over the back, and still ends up getting another. And yet, the double push into spawn just allows Trent an unexpected position, and they play around the obstacles and the smokes marvelously, masterfully. And how have they got this to 11-11?
They've broken EDG's money right back. This is unreal. This was a tantalizing prospect of a game, no matter what. But seeing the scoreline get to this against the odds here, G2 pulling it out, EDG now have to do the same right back. Leaf says no to the beginning. Kung's gone down.
It's a great shutdown, and there's double push in mid as well. They know that Leaf is fighting over towards B long, so they're going to try to apply some pressure over there.
Knife's edge stuff though, but I mean, nobody's got a classic. What are you meant to do here? Not much. Trent bulldozering towards the site. G2, no matter the odds, still powering forward, and Leaf's position is just dirty. Tough to handle, but does get cleared. Smoggy gives him a little bit of hope.
Amazing first shot, 145 on the aim punch. Here's where you see G2 go forwards though. They've taken that position over towards Secret and Spawn, just like the prior round. And again, it delivers.
Yeah, you're talking about against the odds. This is now stacking up against them. G2, blooming heck. 4 standing, 12 found. One more, it's done for at least in regulation. EDG need this. And how many, have they got any ults to bank on? No, one off from Kung's, but that's about it.
That eco round has just completely twisted everything, hasn't it? I mean,
Unreal.
EDG were the one at the start of the game looking like they had very good breath, good individual rounds. Smoggy with the clutch, Chishu and Kung pulling out kills all over the place. Now G2 have answered back and have the map point to work with.
This is the pressure one. Leaf's got operator, Vandals throughout on the rest. EDG, goodbye here. Be enough. They'll set up on towards main. How long do they try and hold that? They've already decided against it.
Jorg's teleported away to go and reinforce Leaf's position. He's been holding a fairly passive angle at the start, wondering if Kung's going to peek into him. But now he can start getting a little more aggro, getting a little more info.
So many question marks on the map. You've got the owl drone towards middle, you had the Vice flash towards middle, you had that early contact towards A, you've had now Util over towards B long. So much for EDG to try and figure out where this ends.
And the Prowler just got broken in A main. Valen stuck around to break that from Simon, so Simon still thinks there's presence right now in A. In fact, you see the rotates coming towards A.
It's so slippery from G2, so cerebral. This puts nobody in a do-or-die scenario, and look at the crunch, there's nowhere to hide! G2, pixel perfect on the execute, but stalled out for a second. 30 seconds now, as the plan comes in, EDG down a man, but does that make a difference?
As they back up, EDG have got all the task ahead of them. No Cosmic Divide, no way for Kung to get in. This has got to be brute force.
They've got it. They can do it. Kung the first to take those steps, even up this one. Leaf with a missed shot. And now Smoggy chimes in with one as well. EDG never caring about the odds, never caring what the numbers may look like. As now Valen asked to fight brilliance and he can't do it. EDG taking us to OT.
I feel like this game completely deserved it. Incredible from EDG to get back into that one. And this round, I think essentially decided by that early fight that Kung took. Even after nobody goes down, I was talking about Kung needs to be able to get back in, and he wins the Yoru head-to-head against Jorgamo. Jorg was posted up towards back halls, and they needed that ability to entry. It also got the dimensional drift back online. They've earned themselves another life. G2 could not capitalize on their one map point.
What a game. You love to see it. Two masters at work here, it feels like. 12 apiece. And we were questioning, or at least looking towards Kang's ability on that Yoru, how it's sitting right now. It's looking pretty nice. 24-18 already. Nice performance from him. Chichu right up there with him. And we go back in. We go for it again. EDG on the attack. G2 on the defense.
Not a particularly heavy hold of A main here from G2, not committing many resources to it whatsoever. Just relying on the fact that Jonah P's got his Vice set up here. I'm not even sure that EDG spotted the deep wall that Jonah was placing in regulation. But G2 have gone for mid info instead here.
Bravado to go for that. Hoping that, I don't know what you're hoping for. Someone's there or someone's not. Very clear-headed clear towards middle. And Trent wants back in. This is dangerous. He isn't alone. Oh, Valen on the bailout. Takes away Kang, and they can slip back a little bit deeper, but this split is coming in no matter what. Nobody. This is lovely work from G2. They are just funneled into death.
There's no way that nobody knew that Vice wall was there. I mean, he just walked through it into his death completely. G2 have bamboozled them with the defensive setup.
Watching this has been masterful. Simon, it feels like a formality at 1v5. Very, very difficult. And it is G2 almost upping the ante there in OT.
Super, super clean from G2. And one of the main reasons why they were able to stack so many players towards mid and A was because Leaf just held the line on B the entire time. There was barely a frame there where Valorant managed to see that, and his crosshair placement wasn't even that great, but gets the job done. A little bit of panic, I think, towards the end as well. They thought that they had to react into the A site.
It's Trent. Let's go, baby.
Nobody had the wrong idea about what the defense looked like. And we see another glass cannon operator, this time on the other side, on the defense for Kang.
Big investment.
But also a big difference. Leaf was holding this area completely on his own, which allowed stacks towards mid and A. Kang's playing this, but with two players supporting, which means there is still a big weakness over towards mid and potentially A in the mid round.
I don't know if that Prowler caught towards A. I'm not sure if it actually identified where Leaf was residing, but a very diligent clear from Simon just to sidestep that one. Doesn't want to lose his life for this, but does now note that there is presence still towards A main.
Art is so open. This defensive setup from EDG is a weird one. Chichu's coming over to try to pick it up. You're worried about Leaf, I suppose. They spotted a little glimpse of him at the start of the round over towards A main, so considering you've got eyes on the main lurker, it's not that bad. Do you really want to be doing this against Kang?
Apparently, yes. Trent's feeling it, but they're not falling for it. As much as this is all a bit of a ruse, how much do they commit behind it? Oh, he's so hungry for it! You don't expect him to chase that closer. They're going into the stack now. Yeah, they are. They're still heading this way. This could be going again. We might be going again. EDG! They knew what was happening. Kang brave in holding it down. And we go again.
It's actually ended up being a remarkably similar defensive setup to what G2 ran. We noted that at the beginning of the round, Kang had two additional players with him. Now, by the time it got to only 30 seconds on the clock, Kang is alone over towards B. They've got the read. They've stacked over towards the rest of the map. And like you said, Trent on his own, jump peeking that just doesn't create enough pressure to push Kang off the line. He's super happy taking the duel. Week's practice kind of max on this map with this composition.
It feels like it just talks to the caliber of this team that they're able to apply such brilliance so quickly. But we go in again. Of course, EDG this time around on the attack and G2 on the defense. So let's see if EDG this time can convert here.
3 players over towards middle. A bait and switch setup at double doors, but that's not where the pressure's coming through.
This is straight through Art.
Now, last time, this smoke has been popped in Art, and then we saw Trent and Valen both double fighting. Simon wants to try to take the fight. They're putting bodies here, daring G2 to stop them.
G2 fancies it. We've been discussing their composure, their cool under pressure. They don't like what they're seeing there. It does put Jonah P on a bit of an island, but he does have util to stall. But speaking of util, having to respect it coming in, but buying the time from that push through towards Art. Still obviously worried there could be a split through from main, but it's not through main.
Yeah, they're going deep through mid. They're trying to catch somebody like Trent who might be playing in this spot, but Jorg is so aware.
How's he? He know. It feels like he knows. The timing's gonna be, oh my good God, Jorgamo! There's no one like this man, finding two. As it, the awareness to identify the gap, to know of that possibility and play for it. But it's still a 3v4. We've seen EDG go up against these odds and still succeed, but in the smoke, waiting is Jonah P. Chichu will have to play this in! Smoggy bringing it back to a 3v3. Valen, this is a really risky play here. Does he get out? He does. Okay, I was a bit worried he might get isolated in front of that, but nobody's taking away Trent.
I was just spamming the flowers.
Oh my God, but Chichu now on the flank as well. He tried to get that pressure on the back line. Valen now has problems. Left, right, and the spike against him. Chichu is an issue. It's so hard to clear. EDG, man disadvantage, doesn't matter. Make it up to 14.
Gutting for Jorgamo to take those 2 kills and be so aware and then see the rest of your team kind of crumble. Because this awareness was spectacular to put his team at an advantage. Jonah, though, gets caught. He's playing inside a smoke at R, expecting EDG to go on a pretty fast timing on the A split. And once the smoke goes down, his wall hasn't been tripped in A. He just doesn't have the cover to be able to play around. That death is devastating. From Macro was difficult. They were finding it tough to get a read on what EDG were going for. But Leaf was always that player going for the exploration. This, though, could end up being a brawl in A main.
I feel like we keep saying that, but they just somehow like crisis avert at the very end. But this time it looks like EDG is sticking around, and as RG too. This might be headfirst for Halos here. They're going for it, and so far it's EDG out on top. Valen goes down. Oh, Jorgamo! When they need him, he seems to get 2 every single time. Kung and Chichu this time around going to be asked a big question. Ult's already in. Jorg wants to find this man. You don't want to leave him unchecked. Has he found a gap? Absolutely not. Bye-bye! Gets out of there, but he still finds his man. Leaving Chichu in a world of trouble. Chichu right back in.
I'm sure EDG would want that round back again. The thing is, though, I respect taking a risk in a round like that. You can't just play scared.
No.
You can't play to avoid losing, and this is the definition of playing to win. They wanted to close things out with a massive fight, but they all got caught by the flash reclear from Jorg. Couldn't ask for bigger impact, and chasing down his counterpart as well. Euro TP, the gate crash, not getting far enough away from danger. You were asking what G2 could do, but EDG kind of handed it to them on a platter.
Oh, this game is living up to our expectations. 2 of the heavyweights here in Valorant in this current day and era. Looking so good. Inseparable almost so far. Of course, at 14-14. EDG's chance to try and dictate the pace on this attacking side.
They're playing B as the weak side of the map again here, G2, but it's not with, you know, the operator going down the line. It's not even with the Vice wall there. It's a really soft B setup right now. I think just playing into the fact that EDG have not been leaning in that direction very much. But this time, around 29, they're swapping things up. And Chishu, Smoggy are working their way down really quite deep. And when they realize there's no Vice wall here, they might try to fully walk it in.
So it is 2 players kind of back B. Valen sees nothing yet. He might be punished on this. He's got to be really careful on these jump spots here. They are so close. Yeah, okay, bye-bye. You got to run away. Get out of there. You're ringing the alarm bell. They are at the door. They're in the door. They're at the site. Trent gets a wild spray through the smoke, but now it's all gone to hell in a handbasket as Kung is breaking down the door, taking away Leaf. Fancy a go at Jorg. Turns the flash, gets back in time, but Jorg takes him down, just leaving Jonah P in a 1v3. And we talk about pace, we talk about aggression. EDG showing we can do it just as well. Lovely approach towards that B side. And Jonah P, this is incredibly difficult. Already stalled out, you're feeling those chances dwindling here. Feeling like 15 is fated for EDG. 1 left, 1 right, the crossfire near on unbreakable. It's just gonna hold. EDG striking first.
And that's a great game plan. They called that one straight off the barrier drop. That wasn't necessarily a mid-round or an audible based off info. It was a game plan from the very beginning, called by nobody or maybe by Muggle during the timeout, to just take that walk down B long. Couldn't have picked a better round to do it. In prior rounds, they would have run into the operator or maybe even the Vice. And this one was perfect. Now it's on EDG to close things out. Map point on your opponent's map pick. Previously, they went for the 4-player fight in A main, and it did not work. Now,
they do it again.
Can't fail twice.
Right? I think that's how odds work.
That's how stats work, yeah. It's 50-50, it wins or it doesn't.
Oh, clap chat and coin flips. I've heard things.
No, this one's a guarantee.
This is wild. They've walked so far here. There is still going to be that wall that is going to be a big signifier of something is up. I mean, the fact that you've got to double doors means something has gone wrong. It feels weird already. There's 2 players here for EDG. Can they close it out in this round? G2 knocking, and this time it's G2 answering back to back. Looking for more. Oh, he can't get it. Jonah P going to quell that aggression. But you're looking at nobody on the back lines. Dealt with. Trent wants to carry this on. Spots another. Just got to play his life here. Play smart here. Doesn't need to do too much. He finds a little bit of safety to fall back to.
Simon's going to deliberately get hit by this. This is going to slow things down quite a lot. And I think Smoggy's got to take the initiative. I think he has to be the person who takes first contact. G2 are all moving their way forward.
Oh, and Simon's just not going to have that chance. That was almost 3 players at the same time swinging. Looking like this ain't over yet.
It's a great decision by G2, playing dynamic in the post plant, not just holding positions and crossfires, though now they can settle into that kind of thing to shut Smoggy down.
That's nice.
Shut him out. Every time it feels like this game is going to end, it doesn't. It can't. We're trapped here forever.
I mean, there's worse things.
Well, what is it with EDG and playing these kind of maps to open series? They did this against Team Liquid as well, a 16-18. Is this somehow going to overtake that?
Look, I've got nothing else to do tonight. I'm happy with this one. If it was going to be a good game, I'm happy to keep going back and forth, but you will see the exhaustion hitting in, that frustration over and over and over. So close to closing out and then brought right back up to 15-15. Having these heroic calls, these brave approaches. You know, who blinks first almost? EDG, another opportunity on this attacking side now.
Leaf is solo holding B, but without the operator. Wow. Somehow Jogomo was able to dip inside the smoke and timing that. He's giving away his position with the flash. These jump spots were the death of Valen in the prior round.
Leaf is... It does scare me a little, but it's fine. We're still seeing EDG kind of doing this 2-on-2, pressuring on both of the extremities at the same time, but you're looking at also where nobody's getting off to. Yeah. He's already straight up through art, taking a lot of space here, completely unnoted.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, he's got past the flash. The flash has not been used for information from Jonah P. In the big matches, nobody sometimes finds his moment and decides to just turn on the carry. He did it in the Chinese Grand Finals for kickoff. He might have his opportunity here again. He's asking his team to create pressure so that this area kind of gets cleared. Oh, but Trent might have a beautiful timing of his own.
This is a huge audio cue. Trent's going to hear it. He's going to find it. He's going to find Chi-Chu as well. Now all of this split, all of this intention through art, this approach towards A could be red, but nobody fancies it. He's still trying to go towards this. Jogomo, pop flash, has a look, finds nothing. Plant trying to be played towards. They've got it in. 4v3 though. Kung, Simon and Smoggy gonna have to stand together. Stands back Jogomo. Another chance here, down to 3v3 now. Simon's unrelenting. He fancies some more. He's gonna get more. Leaf gonna deal with him, but it's traded out again. 2v2. Time now starting to become a factor here. G2 need to try and disrupt these final 2 players. And Leaf the one to put his body on the line, put his life on the line. Leaf?
No way.
Leaf?
No.
Leaf! Oh! Unthinkable scenes!
There's only one position where you could be sticking that from, because otherwise it's one way. There's a tiny gap on the left side of the smoke. They've just let him get away with murder. And in what could be the most consequential round of the first map. This smoke, they've been running it constantly. Simon has been dipping inside of it.
Let's go, baby! Oh, all tapped out.
The Red Bull clutch pulled out at the 11th hour.
Standing ahead.
Gives you goosebumps, that sort of thing. Is that the thing that changes the trajectory of this entire matchup? Kind of going blow for blow the whole time, but now the pressure is back on EDG, trailing this time. G2 round to the good, but a lot of pressure here through our Jogomo is certainly not alone. He's gonna have a fight on this, and it's Smoggy, it's Chi-Chu. side by side, taking away the G2 players. Man advantage to EDG, looking for a way back in. They try and fight towards the site, but they lose out as Jonapi left in a 1v3. And this match feels like it'll never end.
I mean, at minimum at this point, it's going to tie EDG's 18-16, barring something ridiculous from Jonapi. He's got a similar situation to Valin previously, where the over-rotation from EDG pulls people to A, and he's got a plan. It's again a similar spot where you can't really play back halls in this position because nobody's just going to clear you out with a salvo. And at the moment, Jonah can't do anything.
Uh-oh.
Well, it could be a bait.
It could be.
I think EDG realise it's not.
Oh, all good. Oh, it's not good. It's rough here. He's still slipping around this. Hold on. Nah, come on, EDG. We're going every single round possible. How long do you reckon this is going to go on? You know what I mean? There's only so many times I can keep getting, into the 16-16. This is just ridiculous.
What is the record at an international event?
Someone's going to be able to pull that up.
I'm sure they will.
Enemy remaining.
1917, I've just been told.
Good vintage.
So, we certainly could end up getting there. This is absurd. They're taking chunks out of each other, and they're also still trying to showcase new stuff.
Yeah.
Different stuff.
Look, I know, because when we talk about G2, especially on this map, Pearl is a fantastic map for them. Their map pool is really impressive. EDG still showing depth and new looks at this point.
It's absurd, and it should make you feel scared if you support any team other than EDG at this event.
Yeah. But right now, they are tied at 16 apiece. Again on the attack.
But Kung has the attack op this time. We haven't seen this at any point, I believe, in the match so far.
Deep look towards A, though, from G2. Look at the space they're controlling here. Keeping these two players on that pendulum swing rotation. Trent kind of, I think Valin as well, both able to kind of fill the gap as needed. Jorgamo, this is a lot on your plate, mate. This is a lot of pressure. That's a pixel. He's found a body. Oh, another! He's got two again! This man is something. I don't know where he keeps getting 2 kills from, but every time.
Now the rest of G2, though, need to fill up this area. Valin needs to make sure that EDG can't cross.
Oh my God, Simon's still good for it. I thought there was a bit more of a fight on that, but it is one out by G2. Stalwart and holding towards middle. Leaving just the man himself, right? Kung.
And an almost impossible situation. I mean, he's got an attack operator. He didn't even see a soul this round. Didn't have a chance to have impact. And it's also got to be rattling through the back of the heads of EDG that
30 seconds left.
If they hadn't allowed Leaf to stick the defuse in a prior round, they would have won the map already.
Can't feel good. If there was anyone to do it, it would be this man. Oh God, there was a feeling in the room.
If the trip hadn't gone off and activated the slow, I might have believed.
Okay, 17-16. Back with G2 with the chance to close out now.
At this point, I don't even want them to close it out
Oh,
here.
let's keep going.
I want them to see it, let's at least tie the record. If you got to this point and you don't get the record.
Kang just Spider-Man meme and Spawn. We both looked at each other, knives out.
The operator's still there for Kung. Maybe a little bit more viable this time on the defending side, of course.
All set.
G2 have to once again rally themselves forward on this attack. Can they close out now? Can they make it up to 18? Early control being fought for towards that B main approach.
Yeah, just using the salvos there to cancel Trent's drone, make it feel like Kung is playing with the operator towards B long, but they're pretty confident about it, pretty bold. They disrespect that.
Oh, Kung looking for it, but they are just avoiding him. They've managed to navigate away from this.
They got the read, and Valen's created a good timing to hit the A site. The question is whether they can actually hit that. They're kind of meandering around at this point. It might give EDG a timing to spread back out. And Smoggy in the same spot as Jorg was, but they did get the little bleep there.
Yeah. Wonder if it is heard again. LAN audio is a little bit different at times, harder to isolate those sounds.
And Valen's missed the timing here as well.
Whoa. Kung is right here. He's gone down. This could be the floodgates open. Do they speed up off this? Taking pause for thought towards Art, but Simon needs to make a masterpiece out of it. He can't. G2 now on the line. This could be over. G2 surely in the driving seat now. A 4v3. Oh, G2, prove me wrong. Kids, proving me wrong. Valorant and Jorgamo digging back in though. It's done. G2 make it across the line.
G2 have left this open as a trap, right? I think
Surely,
Bren's,
right?
I think Bren's probably bang on the money, but that depends on if they've put quite a bit of time in recently to getting it better, because they weren't confident playing this in Americas.
Okay, big opponent to try and pull it out against as well, so they better have been ready for it. Smoggy already going to be drawing first blood. It's looking likely for EDG. Nobody right in between them, leaving Trent feeling like a formality. It's sharp from EDG.
That's a really classic pistol round kind of play from G2. Get the double smokes down between default and triple, and then go through short. And EDG have already got a protocol about that. They've got the KO in the composition. It's so good for contesting through smokes. That's exactly what they do. They got the little flash that goes straight through. It allows them to fight the front of the site with Smoggy, who's playing towards bench. If G2 are pulling out these kind of rounds that are standard, I think EDG are going to eat them alive. Really what you're looking at as potential pitfalls here with both of these comps. For EDG's side of things, it's the lack of the Viper, which means no smokes over towards B. We're sending it quick in showers.
And staying dedicated towards the back of the site is EDG, not really fast at taking close fights. Yeah, have showers control, that's fine. Sit in there anyway. It's only that Sheriff really on Leaf that's going to be keeping my eyes at least close to G2. This is a re-clear from EDG as well. Well, underhand flash, but Valorant's got to be on red alert. Time to try and shift away. EDG clearing that question mark quickly.
Going over towards nobody. He's got a judge. If you play with a judge in hookah, it does mitigate the lack of the Viper quite a bit, because you just have to worry about smoking off long. You have an opportunity.
Oh my. Well, bye-bye. Leaf down to 17. Forced off the angle. EDG just maintaining control throughout all of this.
Whoop. Almost caught with his pants down there as the smoke disappeared.
Yeah, but we're down to 38 seconds, and G2 have tested the waters just about ever and don't particularly like any of it. So looking to go back around towards B, and that judge is still in towards hookah. Leaf, yeah, trying to puff out the chest, look a little bit more intimidating, but this be really where it stops, and then outside of that, well, you got the wall. So 20 seconds. Have fun. G2.
No more thorns.
Hopefully just looking to buy time here. Be a little hard to create maybe a crossfire coming out towards hookah, but nobody willing to look for his life on it. Gonna dive through towards side. This is
they do
going nowhere.
Yeah, they do have to die.
Well,
One enemy remaining.
that's a real mid-round to look at. G2 just not finding anything. Very disciplined from EDG.
Yeah, very disciplined from EDG. They also keep both of these shotguns into the round. And I'm not sure that EDG really revealed it too much. They might not realize that there was a button. See, look here. There's the kill from the Ghost rather than from the Judge, though he does get up closer towards B-Long in the later part of the round. But they're going to have to be really careful navigating against a bonus round here that has double shotguns. G2's composition has double drone, though, to try to deal with that. It's not too tough. There's just so many condensed spaces on Bind where you can get value from a Bucky or a Judge.
Okay. Give me some reasoning here, G2. Haven't been really enamored with what I've seen so far, and Chi-Chi's not feeling all that threatened either, willing to commit to this. Does have some support there in Kung Kung as well. Felt that pressure coming in. Jorgamo very much on the verge of contact. Guardian might give away the game. As a look, doesn't matter. Valen is going to take out Kung Kung, but they know Chi-Chu's here. Good flash and a nice try, but G2 do win out, at least taking the space towards long.
Having taken down the Vice, that should open up the door to A. They go with the Teho drone just to make sure that there's no other trap around. Nobody's going to play himself in. With a Judge in backside, what do you hope to accomplish here, buddy?
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
There's no way. I mean, nobody will sometimes give you rounds like this where he just makes super questionable decisions, but he is a champs winner, and I am a bot. So,
I don't know, man.
So I try not to judge, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to criticize any players anymore, all right? Unless you're a champions winner. That's the standard. Valid, gonna be forced out. Smoggy, having a go. Why not? Guardian, Bulldog there.
Any damage is good damage.
At this point going forward, yeah, because it is Vandals, Phantoms. These are expensive items. Jonah Pete is going to take away Simon's. No real threat to the round, but I'm looking at the economy. I think Smoggy knows he's not really getting much more than that and opts to back away and No, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you should be dying
Yeah,
with the
I was
spike
like,
there.
where are we off to, mate?
You don't really want to keep a Guardian in that spot.
Ew.
One of the interesting things to note in this round is that G2, even after they'd taken quite a lot of space at B
10
long,
seconds
they were
left.
still pretty cautious and tentative about it. And I think one of the reasons... Oh, wow,
What?
that's disgusting, actually.
What?
Oh, that is vile. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that a thing with the normal Vice Wall, or have they placed it in a certain spot?
Can we see the setup on the Vice Wall if they put it back there?
Oh, they are nerdy. They are nerdy.
Yeah.
One enemy
But
remaining.
Wow.
what I was referring to is that I think the cautiousness from G2 is because they're scared of a potential flash re-clear over towards B long. When you have the KO in the composition, you have to be a little bit worried about that kind of thing. And look at how much faith they have in Chishu just holding down B alone at the start of this round for a brawl in showers.
That is wild that he's still posturing up, jump spotting towards long, taking quite a, I don't want to say risky, hold on, speaking of risk, Simon, get out of there. Two players quickly eyeing up showers, and it is going to be under the G2 banner, at least for the start.
EDG, though, group up short, look to try to take another re-exploration. Leaf is very happy when the game comes to him in spots like this.
It is, for once, a single Leaf just on the other side. Does have support on the way. You can see Jonah P and Trent coming over. This is a nasty little setup here. G2 will have to be diligent in their clear, which they are going to be. This is now going to be very messy. Time to get out of there. Trent's going to get one. Valorant on the follow-up, and EDG get punished for their bravado playing close sight. Flash through the smoke. We've seen it before, and it's rewarded again. Kang going to claim two. Leaving in this 3v2, and Simon wants to play it forward. He finds a fair fight and a follow-up. How the hell are EDG turning that around?
Two waves of defense through the smoke. I mean, first of all, EDG are fighting over short, and G2 handle it really well. Taeho drone comes through, they swing, and not just that. They have the flash for the swing and a Brimalt behind. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, G2, they're into the site. But it's the same cascade of defense through the smokes. And a trade from Leaf was not there quick enough onto Simon. I think he should have been a little snappier with that one, but I think G2 is still a bit afraid of what EDG are going to be doing on the defense. They constantly look like they're the ones reacting.
God, again, this is just so strong. EDG, this confidence. It's a wake-up call almost, really stamping their authority on this one. You walk into bind, you leave it open, you think maybe it's a trap, right? G2, this is not high up in that map, but we haven't seen it. They're trying to fight back, they make a go of it. Still doing this up against nothing. That's three of them standing, walking out there, Vandals and head held high. EDG, this feels like it's sending a message almost.
Talking about sending messages, it's actually quite important for G2 if we take a step backwards from this. This is not an elimination game, right?
No.
And G2, they're favored to be able to make it out of Swiss anyway, even if they do lose this game. It's really difficult out there, though, so I do hesitate to say that. But G2 want to send a message in this one that their bind is not free. Like, if they do float it and leave it open, you should still respect it. And if they get destroyed by EDG here, it's not gonna work.
Well, this is interesting. If we actually have a swing off it. Nah, nobody, I don't think he's going to fight. Ooh, does he get something off this? Okay, a little bit of info. I was hoping to see a little set piece off the rip. Don't think they're going to get the opportunity. Maybe a late flash in the clear here.
Yeah, I mean, they can still do it off contact. Kang takes a slightly deeper line. You send the flash out. G2 are probably not going to be running into hookah. They just go for the mid-round information instead. G2 are going to understand that a flash there means that somebody's peeked with it. That also means they're probably not fighting over long.
That Vice Wall is an issue. Still going to be very much there, playing on the other side of the map as well. Simon playing backside, Kang playing out of elbow, and nobody playing close. Air flashes there, Seekers as well, but you can't make much of them. But they are pivoting, they are rotating away from this.
You don't want to go into Kang when he has the showstopper. Problem is, here comes Simon rotating to make the A side of the map the strong one.
So many of these approaches have been hindered. Again, those plays through the smoke, the isolation. G2 going to take away Valen, but it's traded out this time. They can carry on forward, but how many flashes have we seen through these smokes? How many times has this man been an absolute nightmare? This time around, G2 pivot where they look, clearing out the space properly, playing together, plants in play, leave. Ugh. That's rotten from him. Kang done for. Nobody handled. G2 finally getting a bit of stability, but that was Still rough around the edges.
I mean, the end of that round was appalling. that
I was being quite nice.
That was really rough. And Leaf got himself into a phenomenal position. He snuck all the way through showers, deep into backside, an amazing spot, whiffs the shot, and then Kang sends his ultimate out and -1 showstopper. So that's a weird way for the round to end, but the macro ideas, better from G2. And like I said, Leaf really threaded the needle there. That might be something he tries to do later on as well.
Swings and roundabouts now, money all over the shore.
What? He's full blind.
What is this game? How's this happening after what was just like the... Oh. We're having one of those matches now after what was like, you know, the barn burner of map 1. It's getting
A little messy.
a little muddy, but it's early, you know?
Deep Vice Wall over towards B long here. So Chishu's mixed things up on the eco. And the reason for this is he wants information on this side of the map so that they can stack A. He's probably not going to run this too often because it is fairly easy to jiggle out. You can make this into a trap play where you put the flash here and you salvo as soon as the wall takes contact. And the salvo would be all on top of these G2 players right now.
Ooh, it's fine. G2 clears sight. Plants coming in. EDG down to 2.
Expensive though.
Yep.
Jorgamo deciding to make it even between the two raises, neither of them having a raise out for the next important rifle round.
That's just so nice of him.
It is.
Considerate man. Takes away nobody. And Kang gonna have to do this with just a stinger. Before standing here for G2. And it is G2. Clear enough. Right, now we get into the, hopefully, a cleaner look between these two.
Sure to follow my
Yeah, and also I think one of the things to pay attention to is whether this defense over towards A starts to get exploited. G2 are really, really good at adapting on the fly.
Yeah.
If you think about that previous map that we just saw, as we heard from Mika talking to Josh RT, he used the tag timeouts, the coach, like round 8, round 9, like essentially done with at that point, and just left it to the players to adapt as things went on. They are good at being able to dismantle other teams' compositions. Very intelligent.
Real problem solvers. And fancying another go towards this A site here. Life should connect on at least one there. Pretty sure that is gonna catch Jonah P. They look to re-clear with 3, so giving up all of this space though on short.
That means that EDG have to play super heavy for showers. What is Kang thinking there?
I don't know, and he has gone down for it. Simon just manic under pressure. G2 flooding the site. Smoggy's gonna control towards showers. But again, there's some questionable choices going on here.
Jorg got roasted.
What's going on? Trent and Leaf. Do you really fancy going walkabout standing? I guess you do. Yeah, go on then. Nobody's waiting. And yeah, Trent wins it. Okay, but
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Oh, G2 has a glimpse, has a glance. He's got it. Trent now. He knew about Smoggy about a week ago, but to try and keep track of that, impossible. EDG tip it back into their hands at 5-3.
This is a messy game of bind, though. I mean, the idea with that defensive setup, when you play triple over towards showers, you have to commit to showers.
Yes.
You know that you've lost lamps control, and the retakers, when they come over, are super tentative. They don't just run into backside. And here, Kang thinks there hasn't been a reaction, even though the Viper wall's gone up. He just kind of thinks he'll risk it. And yet they still somehow manage to skirmish out and don't just get pinched completely over there. It's G2 trying to test the waters, trying to find the limits, and EDG still being able to come up with the goods.
They insta-ult, drone off the back, but Kang is still going to hold towards short. You got to get past him still. Trying to be forced away, holding lamps. Leaf clears. They've got front sight under control. I say somewhat, because we still see Simon there with the flash. No one to really play through it this time, so having to stay a little bit more patient, wait for this plant now.
This is one of the first times G2 have got into a decent spot.
Another ult coming right back in. Teo ult on both sides. Jorgamo willing to put his life on the line, but he goes down for it. Leaf going to be pressured, and EDG sweeping through. One over towards showers is going to be cleared. Nobody lighting him up. That's clean from EDG.
Great retake. So much utility there. Still saved in the bank for EDG. They had flashes, salvos, stuns. The Armageddon coming back through as well. And G2 made that incredibly obvious that they were going for a fast A hit. They literally used Taeho just straight off rip to push people out of showers and went for a 4-person exec short. This is not a comp that's going to be amazing at running these big 4-person short executes. Normally you're going to want the Fade to combo in there, maybe the Gecko or something like that. But they went for it, tried to make it happen. They're certainly trying to adapt and trying to find the openings, really heavily focused on A, as you can see again, but they're not coming out with the answers here.
No, and EDG starting to, it feels more and more robust as the rounds go on here. We just saw a really clean round. Smoggy trying to find a little bit of room to play from. That's audio cues, at least one, perhaps two. No way, no way! Doesn't get cleared out. He knows that there's already a crossover towards Lamps. He's got the ult as well. Fight forward or die. It doesn't matter which you choose, but Chichu does go down, but it's limited success. Look at the grip on this site. Jorgamo, I mean, you ain't doing much more than that. EDG looking in control now.
I think EDG have thoroughly proven at this point that their A defense works.
Yes.
So this has been a great scrim, guys. Shall we perhaps test the B side or something a little slower?
No, back towards A.
They've got, there's a lot of mistakes going on here as well. I mean, for example, you see it there, the dog not clearing the close position. That close position is one of the most common spots that you see people play inside of. If they're playing with a judge or if they're trying to get the jump on you with some kind of crossfire over towards Lamps. There are errors here that don't befit a team with a reputation of having every T crossed and every I dotted.
Build that idea that we've come up with, but, you know, maybe they can close out the rest and show us a little bit more, but we need something to activate for G2. Right now, 3 rounds, and the way they've got them and the way this game has gone, I am not really buying this. EDG.
Raze ult versus Raze ult.
Here we go. Oh, God, what is going on? Is Jorgamo to find it? Traded out, though. And they still have control. They have a lot of bodies here. Lovely swing, EDG. This is composure. Expecting the play coming out as well. G2 are trying to go blow for blow, but the bodies are here. Simon just putting up numbers and just roasting Leaf alive.
If there was a round that typifies exactly how this map has gone so far, it would be that one. Just a massive fight over towards B long. Both Rays with their ultimates, firing them off at each other. And then crucially, when Simon went for the reclear with the flash, nobody playing anti-flash, right? The layers that you would normally expect from a team like this, you see Valen is towards the bottom of B long in that, but he doesn't swing. He's not like, they haven't pre-thought out what they're going to do against EDG. And so every idea is working here for the Chinese super team.
This is a lovely confidence boost when you're considering the fracture is looking more and more likely as we close in towards an 8-3 scoreline here, looking like potentially 9-3 as well, considering the buy is Guardians. We do have an ult of Jonah Pease. Maybe that'll do something. But
oh, what a shot!
Hey, you wanted some individuals? All right, that's not bad. That's the vibe. G2 can shoot.
Were you mocking the Guardians?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll write a written apology. I'll get to it. That's on me.
No, that's crazy though. G2 have just given themselves an opportunity, I think, here to be able to win the map. I mean, 4 rounds and then a pistol is vastly different.
Sometimes this game confuses me in ways that surprise me every single time, but now Smoggy and Simon gonna have to try have a little go. Yeah, not gonna happen. G2 at least gonna look to salvage around here after what was a very underwhelming performance. Simon, yeah, there's just the pour on of utility. Timing alone is gonna be rotten for him. And then, yeah, you're right. 4 rounds does give you a little bit of a window to play with. As you said, maybe complement that with a pistol. Maybe you're back into this.
At the same time, though, just with a pistol, G2 haven't won one yet in this series. All 3 of the pistols have gone the way of EDG. G2 have got to turn that around.
Had it with your old phone.
That's the question.
I don't think many people can really find an answer to that yet.
Not the pistol rounds.
No, which is a bit of an issue when you've only got 4 rounds. EDG looking like they are back on track here after, as I said, a very hard-fought for map 1, which just slipped between the fingertips. But let's see if they can stick the landing, keep this clean. Get on to map 3, Chichu. Looking sharp at the start, but overwhelmed and looking to be crunched on. Kung's there. And Jorgamo trying to just play his life. Trying to stay alive for a second. We got the TP support coming in, a little scared, but all good.
This This is another really standard pistol round from G2. The flash, no follow-up. How do you get out?
Well, a shot like that will certainly do you some good. A 3v3 now, but does Leaf feel this pressure? Does he feel the absence of resistance on the site?
You should do.
G2 starting to put it together. It feels uncomfortable. Something feels off here. The molly is an issue, but Leaf with a stunner. Okay, hold on. 2v2. But can they find these players in time? EDG trying to play to that clock here, force the fight forward. Smoggy, lovely work. Being really slippery here. And Leaf previously up towards that heaven position, trying to do what he can. He's outdone here. EDG once again looking composed in these pistol rounds.
4 out of 4 pistols going the way of EDG. Their players look super sharp with ghosts in hand. And small mistakes again, like Valen being caught out in the open there at Showers instead of playing the corner. He was getting reinforced by players coming through the teleport. Both pistol rounds that G2 ran are mega standard, not something special that they've come out of the strat book with. The kind of stuff that you see from tons of other teams at the tier 1 level. And now G2 are going for the force buy. Smacks of desperation, for sure.
Yeah, there's not many good ways to characterize desperation in this one, and yeah, those stingers certainly look like it. Let's see, EDG, let's see how it looks once they hear those stingers, once they feel that pressure. It looks like fight a little further forward. Stalled out at least by the smoke now. Forced to respect that, but Jorgamo willing to try and hold this line down.
Chichu is playing that position really disciplined. Valen's begging for a fight within some kind of stinger range. They can't find it.
Look, I've heard things about these North American stingers. I've heard they're pretty good, but I see caution being shown by EDG. Respect given in this one, not wanting to make any mistakes here, and you can see G2 kind of gathering back up towards Lamps, going for the swing, and the timing was pretty good, catching a couple on the reload. Oh, they didn't expect Jorgamo! Catching 2 off again. And look at Kong's HP, down at 8. He's the one with the Vandal. Not close enough to pass it out comfortably. He wants that plant. Chichu only on the Ghost. Oh man, this has suddenly become very doable. Kong trying to reposition here, but those stingers, yeah, that's a good spot for Jorg. Yeah, it's so nice from him. That 2 he found was just perfect. Not expecting that extra body, but Chichu, timing's everything. And he's been caught off, down to 32. You think this one's got to be done here. They can start getting diffused. Utilities coming in. EDG, little bit of a wake-up call. Can't take it too light, but G2 and Stingers, man, they're good with them.
It's the perfect result from a force.
Yeah.
It's always a risk when you go for this kind of thing. If G2 had lost the round, they've basically lost the map. But I think it's the right time to take a risk. And what is the spray transfer there? I mean, he's running and strafing. Obviously, it's the perfect weapon to do that with, but a stray bullet just flies onto Simon's head like it's a magnet. And Valen was also playing really nicely around smokes. He threw a smoke over towards default, which scared off EDG. Looked to try to close the gap and get the best value out of those light weapons.
Okay.
G2 with a lifeline.
Yeah, it is, right? It's a small window of chance. EDG going to be forced down to the Sheriffs and Classics, odds and ends, and a very simplistic approach thus far. Trying to peek, could be farming on this. Judge there. Vintage for a reason. Going to be forced a little forward, but taking a lot of damage here. Forced down, okay. Nicely worked out.
Another example, I think, of not just playing against enough Tejo players. It's really difficult to play those kind of spots with a Judge against a Tejo that has salvos, can do a bounce stun to be able to take you out. Similar over on Split.
Drone is down.
Nobody's gone for the reposition inside the teleporter as well. Hoping that Valen or Jorgamo go for that as they pressure B.
Nice little off angle for Leaf though. The early warning signal of presence coming in. A little bit of a stall on top. Going to try and hinder this. Yeah, they try and disrespect that. You're going to get melted. 40 seconds, but EDG working this. I like what they're doing, genuinely. You might as well make something like this happen. Can they achieve much with that Judge recovered? I don't know. Can they gap close well enough? Leaf trying to find a corner of safety. The time is starting to close out for EDG here, and the spam from Jorgamo is lovely. Okay, going for it in this. I think that's a little excessive, but...
Definitely is. And I think, flashy though it is,
sure,
it's a similar scenario to what we saw earlier. I think Jorg has used I mean, both of the Raze ultimates that I remember were on
Yeah.
anti-eco situations where he potentially could have saved them. And I think G2 need everything they can to be able to survive these spots. The next round, EDG's macro is looking pretty good. Kangkang's 2 away from being able to get his ult online.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, a little surprised at that one. I felt like they had this in hand. They still had the player towards elbow. They still had the leaf towards sight.
Yeah.
It feels a bit too far for me, but again,
It's credit, though, to EDG's pressure that they were applying with only classics in hand. And that level of pressure is what I was looking for G2 on their attack side. And think about it, if they had done, there was no Viper wall there.
okay. Now, can G2 keep up this up against the rifles? That's what we're looking at here. Now, EDG have the opportunity to show what they're made of. It's all a bit of a ruse to begin with. Kangkang was considering at least investing in the boom bot, but then thinks against it. It's the other side.
There are pings all over showers where Jorgamo is currently holding. Looks like maybe a stun play, see if they can catch him.
Far simple in approach.
Drone is down.
Good info. They know what's coming here. There's 3 players for G2. Kangkang, though, going to start flying forward. Takes the close space. TP there. Nice. G2 holding on. Kangkang the one to answer back, but it's G2 on the site. Solid
Standing.
in their hold this time. I'm waiting with bated breath for it almost to fall apart, but it's not here. They've held their composure well. And EDG just getting broken on the way in towards site itself and towards showers.
One of the players ended up dying to salvos as well. And the macro game actually being played really nicely by Jorg and Leaf, the 2 players on your screen here. They dominated in showers
left.
against the Teho utility that was coming out and made sure that a crucial piece of map control was maintained the entire time by G2. And they've got the jump on Smoggy here. Though he is thinking about it, it would be impossible for him to deal with both of them and get the plan down.
Okay.
That's a really big round for G2.
Yeah.
The game, although it feels like EDG have been in control, is only within 2.
It's 9-7.
And that's partly because of the force buy and
Yes.
the fact that that worked and got them an extra eco off the back of it.
Yep.
But it's also because they've now got a really crucial eco swing round here. Round 14 and 16, you might look back at this and I'll say this is where everything flipped for G2.
And it's enough of a pressure moment considering the purchase. It looked like it was kind of maybe opting for a Bulldog at a moment, but then now going against it. So, yeah, Sheriff's Light Shield, Regen Shield does have ult as well. So if there is a moment that could call forward that investment, it is there.
Jonah looks a little uncertain as to how to play that situation. He was thinking about using the dog, wondered if he had the timing to go for the jiggle and decided it was safe enough. Doesn't take any damage there.
Blinded.
And there is a potential fight over here. They're trying to bait Jorgamo into going for the aggressive push. They found the kill, and now nobody could call the reinforcements through the teleporter, though they slow the game down.
Oh, this is nice, though. That is a Vandal they can pick up. Obviously, they don't fully know how secure and safe that is. If they want to go for that late look back towards showers, it's there. Oh, and another punish, Chichu. Stunning. Really punishing G2 for wanting to try and tip those scales back towards even, but to try and play out in a 5v4 up against Sheriffs, giving EDG what they wanted.
Nobody, as he goes for the drone through here, is going to realize that that Vandal is able to be picked up.
Oh, and G2, you'll be kicking yourself from this one. EDG have absolutely worked you over here. It's down to Trent and Jonah P to try and do something back, but nobody is going to have that upgrade as well. And the Curiosity, oh, he's got 2! Jonah P making up for the mistakes, leaving just the hero himself in the what? Oh my God, hold on, oh no, he's got one back! These 2 teams now down to a 1v1, but Trent on the site itself and Kangkang waiting. Letting him sweat a little on this. Satchel over, force him away as a look. He went wide, and Trent recovers what looked like a lost round.
Incredibly important 1v1 to Trent, but he's not really the hero here. It was all on Jonah P. Somebody who got bullied basically in map 1. He was having a really rough game of things. Couldn't find his value. And here, he's saved them. He absolutely has.
Oh, bloody hell. Those 3 on the site. What a game we are seeing here. Suddenly. Oh,
Jorg has picked up the operator here
okay.
for this round, and he's solo, alone, holding on A.
Have they seen that Leaf's crossed there? TP's. Oh, okay, that's big info. Run, get away, find a little bit of a corner to play from. There is a hunting squad here, looking for blood. Leaf draws it. Kung's gone.
Here's the reaction. You gotta push. You know you have the timing. There's only one player A.
He's respecting this enough. He knows that he can't stick around too close, rattling off an operator shot, but backpedaling away towards heaven.
Now forced to play retake with the op. Do they have plan denial? No, nothing.
I'm looking at the ults here. Nobody one off from his. Simon one away, but it's Chichu with his Smoggy, with his Molly still there. They're going to try and clear sight. You've got the ults coming onto this, layering it forward, trying to facilitate what they can. An angle for nobody could be lovely, but it's Chichu with the first contact. G2 trying to gap close on this. Chichu nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He's trying to play his life, and he still gets down Leaf. Quick trade. G2 unwilling to relent on this, but util is the name of the game. They've got a lot of stall here. G2 are going to have to try and work this out somehow, even with the numbers. It ain't going to be easy. Look at it. Poured on. Jonah P puts himself forward. Nobody comes in. Trent on the trade, but time is everything. You've heard the ult going through. I think Smoggy knows he's done enough here. Trent can try what he can, but it's EDG buying those precious seconds.
Their comp has so much of that post-plant stall that they could use. They have the nade, then the mosh, then the... sorry, not the mosh, the fragment grenade, the salvos, Molly from Brim, and then the orbital strike on top. I mean, even if they've used some of them to be able to take the site, which this round they barely had to, it's such a good post-plant composition. And what's rough about that is it was probably the best played round from G2 that we've seen, and they don't get the win.
Jorgamo still with that operator here. Ult for Leaf, but other than that, it is just what they can do. Jorgamo slow down a little, but look how much space they're taking off this. Maybe this is the right read. EDG are going to take all of the site. You've got to hope in some mind that Trent holds back site, because Kung is hungry. Trent looked lost in the source on that one. He was just drifting away, but now we've got them pinned. This is actually an issue. This is a really tricky scenario for G2 to figure out.
Planted.
It's tricky for Leaf. Leaf has to hold off the Horde that are looking to try to take some space over towards backside, towards spawn. EDG would really love to control heaven.
Oh, Leaf. That doesn't look winnable. It really doesn't. EDG posted up on this. Two players waiting. Nobody good for it. Valen does strike back towards Kung, but now Jonah P, the man who went large, who went above and beyond for the boys before, now he's trying to hold on to it. Nobody. Forced a little further forward. Dog goes in. It's all getting messy now. On towards the spike. Nobody going to take away Jonah P. EDG bringing it back to 11 now.
Two vitally important rounds for EDG to stem the bleeding. It looked like G2 were going to be able to put things together. Yeah, they're going to force into this one. And probably that means that Leaf is going to pit right at the start as well. So he's got the one-way over towards Showers. He can pit short. He's got a teammate helping him at the start of the round. And that'll allow them to keep B as the strong site.
Shoulder. Going to be seen. A little bit of a trade out between the two.
Immediately, Kung knows what the setup is. As soon as they see the Viper ult in short, he knows there's going to be a one-way over towards Showers. It's the most standard thing, so he just instantly takes all of that space.
I'm surprised that Trent did actually rotate over. I think he's going to try and quick foot it back towards B. Yeah, he's made it back through now. Simon's got to be cautious. He's very isolated. Nice work from Jonah P, but it's Chichu all in the meantime taking away the support. Once again, Jonah P gonna have to go nuclear, and he makes a damn good go of it, but the site's already won out. We saw Chichu getting that damage done in the meantime towards the two players. Jorgamo has hit a decent timing on this rotation, but it will be a post plant, surely.
He's hit a good timing, and he's got past the thorns. He's given away his position.
Less likely to work out now. TP as well, identifying where Leaf will be coming from. This is all feeling very known. EDG going for the secure plant in the middle of the site. Chichu takes away Jorgamo. They heard the TP. They know where he is, and EDG making it look comfortable at the end there.
Chichu has been utterly brilliant in this tournament. We've already talked about how he was as well at Champs. Where's the wall here? The Viper wall is too late. the rest of the G2 players over towards B not calling for it early enough. Maybe there was lacking fuel. Maybe that was because of Kong's pressure over towards Showers at the start of the round. He might have run out of a bit of juice just being worried about a Showers push. But there are gaps here from G2 that you don't normally expect from them, and EDG are punishing every time.
Yeah. And that's the credit here, is that EDG are finding those faults so well, genuinely. And look at this again, very simplistic in approach though here. No split through Showers, all in through short, and it's a brawl on the side. Jonah P does well, but he's the only one to do well for G2. It's lights out for EDG so far. They've won out the site, they got what they wanted. They add another body to the list, putting Leaf all alone. And the plant's there as well. 13 and map 2 beckoning. And Leaf could do nothing but die. EDG back in the game, and we are going the distance.
On Chishu, because G2 run a very fast, exec-heavy strategy, and it looks like on the pistol round, going for this B split, heavy through arcade, and it puts so much pressure on the site anchor.
G2, huge challenge. Oh, nobody gonna keep him safe for now. Takes away Jorgmo. That's lovely. G2 can reposition a little bit on the site. Valen does find nobody, but if it's Leaf now on the line, and this is G2 brawling out, a lot of angles to worry about, but they come out on top. G2 gonna find one right in that smoke. Jonah P's gone down. This is still a 2v2. Very doable. The HP, yes, favorable to G2, but with Simon and G2 still in this, I'm not writing off just yet. G2. So low on HP here, gotta come together. Oh, Simon snaps and takes away Trent's head. Working it back in together so well. EDG passing the first test.
That is snappy, really nicely played. Even from the pistol round, you can tell that both of these teams actually are looking really good on Fracture. And one of the reasons for me saying that is that look at where the smoke util is coming down. You've got Brimstone smokes on site here for the defenders to be able to play around, and then on the attack as well, Valen pops one over towards Dice so that he can reposition after getting the plant down, and then Simon sneaks inside of the attacker's smoke, flashes through it like they're playing around those pieces of utility in a really good meta way. Oh, and that's tragic.
Yeah.
He knows that he probably should have been able to get that one.
And that could have been a really close chance for that pistol to finally go their way. But as it stands, EDG with this first strike on the board.
As they have done in every map so far, it's brutally difficult to win series when you can't win a pistol.
Yeah, and EDG aren't letting anything slip here. They want to keep control of all of this. No free orbs, no chance, nobody! Oh, it's just gorgeous from nobody, farming him up. They just wanted an orb.
Oh, and they're going to try to give the orb to nobody.
Look at this smile. Simon, he's like, come on over. Guys, I got it. I know exactly where he is.
Leaf's like a tasty snack.
Look at it. Oh, they're hunting him down. Oh dear, this feels foul to witness. Simon closing it out in the end, but blimmin' heck, that's a round 2. They're already grinning.
Aura. I think that's what they said on the desk. The champs winning aura, and I agree, it is really there. Not just from Kong in his pop-off towards the end, but in terms of the way that they're approaching the game, thinking about the min-maxing, not getting worried in spots like that, toying with one of the best players in the tournament.
Amazing.
Have EDG got something aggressive to showcase here on their bonus? The Neon could add so much extra oomph into their defense fast plays.
And a monumental round for G2 on the other side to get this bye under their belt after what's felt like a drought at the start of these games. These last couple of maps. It's a big stack towards A for EDG. 4 players present, a very proactive G2, and they've read him again! Kong! How dare I doubt you on this Neon? Just through smokes. He knows what he's doing, he's fine. The eventual approach from Leaf is coming in. But they've still got this so sewn up. Ooh, okay, that's one. Now he's gonna know Kong's around still. Nobody gonna be noted as well, but does he get to live? No, he doesn't. Kong still in control, looking for more. This is 3 for him, keep in mind. There could even be an ace here as well. Nero back to back, they fancy it too. The crowd's having a go for it, they're calling him forward. He was the one showing off for the end. Showing the crowd what they wanted, but Jonah P shuts them up. It ain't over now. A 1v2, 37 seconds. He's got the spike and 2 individual fights, but pinning down nobody is incredibly difficult. Maybe
30 seconds
he can
left.
hazard a guess at Chi-Chu. Maybe. This is 25 seconds and it's all guesswork now. Takes a gamble, takes a chance, takes a death. EDG converting the bonus here in round 3.
Beautiful protocol for them. If you dial things back to the beginning of the round and think about what their response was to G2's execute, it was to get bodies in front of the smokes as early as they possibly could. Stun, and they're on top of Jorg before he's even landed. They knew exactly what was going to be happening here. They knew that Jorg was going to be the tip of the spear on the exec. They knew the Dish player was going to be late, so they don't have to worry about that timing, and they're in fast flood defending.
Let's go!
They're prepped, they're ready.
And they're damn pumped up too. You're starting to see him really firing up here. Saw him igniting on map 2, looking like map 3. They are just turning the screws. They're in their face. It's sending a message and leaving no one alive. EDG lighting up the kill feed.
If G2 want to run these fast attack split rounds, EDG are super happy to take them on. They're not going to sit back and play retake. They're not going to try to play the crossfires. They're going to leap into G2's face, intercept them while they're inside their iPad, bibbing and bopping with the Fruit Ninja. They're going to try to catch timings while they've got utility in their hand and overwhelm them. I don't know whether other people are going to be inspired by this and pick up the Neon if it carries on like this from EDG, but you don't always have to have something that everybody else wants to copy. You can find something unique. And now G2 need to show us that next dimension, that next level. They need to be baiting fast execs to force the flood from EDG and actually calling the pause and collecting those kills. But they couldn't manage it basically once on Bind, because the same strat would have worked there.
Look at the info here. Not going to go far enough on the Teo drone for EDG to catch anyone towards spawn, but it does clear out towards A main, so feels like they want to free up nobody to hit that rotate early.
And crucially, the tempo difference from G2, right? It's stark. It's so different. Whereas you go and watch what they've done on Fracture in the past, it's fast, fast, fast.
My God, but Trent's already gone down, leaving Jorgamo on his own. This feels, again, it's going to feel a little lacking. They've seen no one else, and they're already looking for information down towards B main. They felt a little pressure, and they went, that's weird. There's no one following that up.
But Valin has called a really nice fake here. Because G2 have conditioned in their prior matches that they always go the first place that they make noise, now they've got a clear access to the A side. Unfortunately, it's a 3v5, because the 2 players faking on B have died.
I like what Jonapi's trying here, but it's really risky. He had to hit it the first time of asking, but Chi-Chu already denies. It's down to 2. Leaf's position could be actually pretty spectacular, but it feels like it... Leaf? Oh no, he's got no idea. He's got no idea! It's not even the flank that gets him! It's Kang! EDG! Absolutely unstoppable thus far!
If you look at that from G2's perspective, Valin outplayed them in terms of making the right call coming out of the tag timeout. If Josh gave them that round, okay, we're going to make a little bit of a fake, a pump fake over towards B, and then we're going to reset on A. The problem was EDG just won every single duel at every point. They deleted Trent before a smoke went down, came back over here, caught onto everyone, found Leaf with the cam. It's perfection from EDG currently, even when G2 have a nice answer.
This is just lovely to witness. And G2 going to be forced down to heal pretty much. A broken purchase, not very many ults to bank on, but they could try and build up. Well, we saw EDG even willing in the previous rounds to take those riskier fights and still win them. Look, they're pushing out towards Arcade. There is no stopping this team. They are relentless in their approach in this map.
It's an unusual defensive setup. Only nobody playing for information.
Yeah, they got no idea. They pushed out so early through Arcade and they're still working. It feels like G2 are so surprised at this aggression time and time again.
I mean, that is a weird one, though. EDG 4-stack over towards B and push out Arcade, flank underneath tunnel. That's the kind of strat you expect them to save for a rifle round. But it throws G2's rhythm off.
Now, G2 have one out at least on the site, right? We're talking silver linings.
Planted.
They've got a plant. Let's go, G2. Need a bit more than that though now. Kangkang already going to be really keeping track on Leaf here. Smoggy going to get contact. Chocomo wins. Those stingers in North American's hands are still deadly, but not deadly enough. Valen and Trent asked to do it all. Huge pressure. Valen tries to stand up. 13 HP. Looking a little unlucky as EDG maintain absolute dominance on that scoreboard. 6 now with 0 response.
Utterly in control. I mean, what we said towards the end of map 1 was, if this was a grand finals preview, man, what a match it would be. Ever since that, EDG have diffed G2.
Straight up.
All throughout Bind, we were ready to give G2 the bail. Because, fair enough, it's at the bottom of your map pool,
okay.
you left it open. Okay, but if you can't perform here on Fracture as well, where you've looked good regionally, and it's not at the tippity top of EDG's map pool either, at least we don't know, I suppose, with this brand new composition.
Sure.
But they are getting smacked around. This is champs winning form from EDG.
And it's crazy seeing that caliber of jump up between these two teams, because they are meant to be, as I said, this could be the quote-unquote grand final that a lot of people were theory crafting.
It's another fake being called from Valorant. So Josh RT's tack timeout must have been, these guys are biting super heavy, used the condition in a previous to run a lot of fakes. Last time though, they lost 2 off the rip, and this time there's a heavy flank from north side.
Yeah, it's coming over quick as well. Already Kangkang going to be closing that gap pretty fast. On the other side of things, it's going to be Leaf who's the one to try and catch this maybe. He's got the flash behind him, but why do I feel this always just favors Kangkang at the moment? The rest of the team making it over now, the utility, the ults, everything poured on. Kangkang dealt with Leaf now with a new lease of life, but nobody! Back-to-back impact! EDG starting to clear on through, and Leaf just wants to live! You don't get that chance! Nobody applying pressure! Valen punching back! It's still a 2v2. Jonah P, lovely little off angle here. It's Valen being dominant! G2 finally carve a round on the board.
He's the brains and the brawn for G2, calls a lovely fake, and then, fine, I'll do it myself, and gets 4 for them. But that's what they had to do to get 1 on the board. And the problem with running fakes like this as your win condition, oh, that is tragic.
Christ.
That's tragic for Jorgamo. He died with his showstopper out as well, I missed that. But the problem with running fakes as your win condition is they rely on the normal being the fast exec. And if the normal becomes the fake, then you're not going to bite anymore on the utility. You're not going to over-rotate.
I think that was 4 ults as well from G2.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And we've got Kangkang going for the operator, has his ult here. Valen gonna have to be ready for this. Nice from Jorgamo, gonna take the space, and Jonah P's done well. Hold on. This is now still going to be contested. Kangkang wants the space back on the site. He's going to get it. Rips him away from tower. And that spike is quaking in its boots in the hands of Trent. He can't go any further now. This is uncomfortable, but does he get timing? Maybe. This pause, this lull in the round. But with the flank from someone like Nobody, you're not that worried about them walking back towards A.
Not at all. Both G2 players are going to have to find great timings and great duels.
Nah, not going to happen with this man, is it?
Down B.
Leaf. Great first of, sort of performances here, but again, EDG looking like a step above the whole way.
They are. I did not think that we would see a team at this tournament make G2 look so rough. It's incredibly impressive. And this is still only the Swiss stage. Still plenty of opportunity for G2 to recover from this one and maybe go on still into playoffs, but I'd be amazed if they recover the map at this point. Yeah. This is already such a hole that they have to dig themselves out of. EDG are showing brilliance.
Again, be it that little bit of vengeance to have from that one loss and EDG's championship run in the group stage to G2. People arguing, hey, but with Jorgamo here, that's a pound-for-pound upgrade over Icy. And well, EDG's form, to say the least, is skyrocketing. Nobody still willing to fight on this, and it's G2 in support to take away Leaf. And man, disadvantage so early on for G2.
This is going to be really tough to play. We want G2 to be moving forwards, looking to try to find a fight rather than just play passive post plants.
But where's safe? Where's secure? It feels like nothing is for you. EDG waiting behind these smokes, but the go signal's coming in now. Kangkang the first in and the first to fall. Good work, but better trade. Smoggy keeping the numbers up. G2 doing the same. EDG so clean. There's not much more to say. This is just a frag movie with their name on it.
G2, I think, player of the tournament so far.
100%.
He's I suppose we are saying that just coming off a masterclass from Durka as well.
Yeah.
Right before this. So maybe I'm getting dazzled by the lights in front of me, but my God, he's at least got to be in the running because every round it feels like he's having spectacular impact. He can't be touched.
Remaining.
God.
Reaction times. Phenomenal. And just like on Pearl,
Yeah.
Pansy, Josh RT's been forced to take the second tack timeout, round 10.
Feels kind of like a win at this point. I think we were calling that a little earlier with the scoreline, but at 8-1, you got to do something.
Dismantling G2's style here on Fracture. And some of that is going to be the tape difference because Chinese kickoff finished a little earlier and EDG had time to refine stuff, change stuff. But it's also just the form they've got, the read they've got, the quality they've got.
G2 nearly walked into their deaths. Have a look at this. EDG having a wander, having a walk. And Kang getting much, much closer just around this corner. Valen waiting. Oh! It was like a guillotine brought down, but Valen gets to live to fight for another couple of seconds.
Trent reinforcing this south side position. It's very difficult to go and retake towards Tree. I mean, even if you throw a bunch of utility at Kang, he is going to disrespect it.
They're already walking north side as well. They don't stop. EDG just don't stop.
This actually might be a good thing, though, for Leaf. He hasn't been able to find much value from Dish anyway. So being able to be given fights as long as he thinks about a flank could offer him impact. He's not thinking about it, though, is he?
Oh,
he is.
Oh, he's
Caught.
Yeah, done for. The map now looking near on impossible to approach EDG here in numbers. The gap closing again. And G2 being strangled out of this one. Smothered as they try and work forward. Jonah P and Valen just inundated with util. Look at it. It's everywhere. There's nothing to do but die. EDG sending a message round by round. It's 9-1.
A lot of these rounds feel similar to Bind, where G2 on the attack side was sending it down short and then not finding that pause in the tempo to bait out the flash. You know, what you want to see from them is we go forwards, we bait out the defensive reaction, and then we punish it. And here, it's similar stuff. They're going forwards, there's a defensive reaction, but then they just get smothered by it. They get absolutely overwhelmed every time without being able to read what's happening. And EDG, they're just too strong.
Yeah. It is mad to see an outclass at this caliber, to this extent.
Yeah.
And again, G2 can do nothing but try and keep going, right? It's, you know, keep trying to find a new way forward, keep trying to find an area to work in, but the fluidity that EDG are playing with right now is so hard to pin down.
You got to be scared of Kang's operator. And then Kang is holding lines for the rest of the team to push. And also, when EDG are up 9-1, they're going to be so confident. Yep. So even if you throw a piece of util at them, or they have a smoke in their face, they're not going to respect it anyway. So it gets tougher and tougher to play against opponents when they get the confidence like this.
Not ready yet.
They have found the weaker side of the map here, but it's Kang taking a walk with his op on the north side that worries me, because this is what I'm talking about in terms of confidence. Would you be doing this if it was an even game? Probably not.
I want to say no.
Well, at the same time, it's Kang. Who knows?
Oh, God, of course. He catches Valen. A reward for that sort of behavior. Now they're going to be just scratching their head going, Christ, what are we meant to do now? Denied on the plant. Paranoid about tower, have to clear it. Stalled out, rotations are in, stuns coming through, they're waiting, they're pausing, they're hoping, they're praying, and maybe this time there's an answer. Leaf desperate to get there in time, Giacomo surrounded and on an island, he's dealt with. 13 seconds, the spike is so far. Leaf has to find the kills. He gets Smoggy. The flash will show, he knows. 6 seconds, he's got to make his choice here. He's trying to find him. 2 seconds. 1, he's run out of time! Nobody puts him to bed! It's 10-1!
There is no kind of win condition that is finding success against EDG. The wall has been raised. EDG are finding so many opportunities. It doesn't matter what they do, it's working.
Oh, that scares me for the rest of the tournament as well. The confidence that this team will be working forward with. They've done this to G2. Arguably the team that people thought would, again, finalists potentially, high end. And to already see this sort of scoreline, that's confidence that could last a tournament. Kung already. Leaf, you've been liking a bit of dish? Nah. Oh, body block. He's still going to get the kill. They're still willing to brawl. It's a 3v2. It's still a man advantage on EDG's side.
At this point, G2 are playing not to get embarrassed, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, the win just can't even be in their mind. The 10-2 half is the best that they could hope for if Trent and Valen are able to put anything together.
Okay, I mean, Trent's one off from ult. A bit of util left. Same for Valen, not ult-wise, but util-wise at the very least.
And the pause in the round here is to try to catch a potential flank that comes through. And EDG have been active, they have been flanking. But every time G2 pause and wait, it's not happening. You know, they're just sometimes making the right call in the wrong round.
G2 just chilling in, Cam.
This Cam has been getting so much value. It caught Leaf in a variety round as well.
Oh, that's a dirty little trip. Does get handled, then the cross does get spammed. You see Trent went low for that, but the plant's in. Quick stun. And looking like a quick retake as well. Simon on the drive-by, just going to catch Trent, leaving Valen in a world of trouble. In a 1v3, he's going to try and do what he can. We need heroics from G2 to even give them breathing room, and a desperate attempt here for Valen. Smoggy and Simon. Clean so far, playing by Killer. Nice from Valen, but not nice enough. A near-on flawless first half.
Utter domination from EDG. G2 were the only team to take them down at champs, but that is so far away from what we're witnessing today. EDG came here to get revenge. We'll go through the playoffs earlier today as the team to watch.
Hands down. Hands down. Well, G2, how about a pistol? Let's have a look.
It would almost be crueler if they did win the pistol here.
A glimpse of what you could have had.
They've lost 5 out of 5.
It's not great, is it?
No, I think that's 0%.
Good at statistics,
But I'm not a maths guy.
No. It's not looking great though, but EDG getting closer and oh, Kung straight in. Oh, Chichu! Yeah, light him up, EDG. Give him hell. Jonah P and Leaf, mile away. Good
Wrap
luck,
it up.
boys. Yeah.
Stick a fork in him. There is no hope out here. EDG, no mercy. And nobody, by the way, has just decided to have a game to end things on.
Oh, this is a one-sided affair through and through. 12-1. Yeah, putting on an absolute clinic. Can close it out in this coming round.
You couldn't have found a more uneven open and close to the series. 18-16 deep in OT. No opportunity for one team to get a toe above the other. And now this could just straight up be a 13-1.
Oh, it might be. But Stingers and G2, here we are.
Don't try to sell me anything here. Not a shred of hope. I want to hear nothing other than EDG glazing.
Told you. It's crazy you hate G2 like this.
I know. I know.
Gonna need 4 more of those though. And this hasn't just been the Kung show, right? And Chichu's been an absolute monster. Nobody. I mean, you can list the whole roster.
He's 16-5. He was 15-5 in the first half. Nobody actually not having like an unbelievable match, but in this map, he went bonkers just as part of the entire team destroying G2.
Okay.
They have a potential to collapse on them here in sand. Oh. Leaf would have been gifted a freebie.
Oh, they're going for it. Having a little swing on this one. Trent with utility, gonna do well. It's a 3v2. This is the advantage they haven't had in a minute. Just give G2 stingers. Oh, Chichu, are you gonna do this on your own? A 1v2, no spike. Got Jonah P. looking like he's nervous as hell up towards heaven, and I would be as well. There's no way he's going to find a fair fight. Oh my God, G2, it's all on your shoulders. Close it out, he can't. Trent extends play for another round.
To what end? To what end? You struggle against the relentless void. The cosmic abyss calls towards you. There is a black hole in front of you. The heat death of the universe inexorably approaches, and yet you resist. For what, Trent? For what? I know that they're pro players and you have to take everything one round at a time, but this is not lock-in. This is the Swiss stage of Masters Bangkok, and I've seen it written. It's the G2 comeback is not happening.
Oh my God, Kangkang, stop it! He got a headshot as well. I'm terrified of this team. They have nothing and they're making it look so much more deadly than it should.
It's the confidence and the individual ability. It seeps through everything they do, every round they play. I've never seen them play scared, actually. I think that's a really important point for EDG. I don't know what it would even take for them to get to that point. I think they've just got the personality, especially coming out from Kangkang, to just never be in a spot like that.
Again, with the Kangkang thing, it feels almost infectious, right? He brings up the rest of the team as well. Very much the rallying cry when needed, but again, another extension. The void is avoided for another round. Thankfully for us to get to witness more.
It does give us an opportunity to show what EDG are going to be cooking on their attack side with this composition.
That's true.
You know, normally, I felt like that previous comp where they would run the fade had a lot of natural synergies to be able to, you know, throw a prowler, allow Kangkang to slide in off the back of it too. The breach is great for sending Kangkang up. The Tail, not as natural. Not that it stopped them at all on the defense side. Kangkang was still sending it in perfect synergy with his two initiators. Oh, that's so awkward. Oh, you know the feeling, don't you? You cross someone in the corridor and you can't get out of the way.
On your left. Oh.
No, after you, after you.
Yeah, the Brits struggle in those scenarios. Okay, EDG dragging G2 around this map left and right, but Jonah P.
alone.
Oof.
Cage triggered.
Decides not to commit to it. If he had more people with him there, Jishu could have been a target. You see how quickly and confidently he backfills the space.
And Chi wins it too. You can see why he's confident. Support comes in. You're never alone with this team. And they're on the site. Simon doing well. Jorgamo with his two, but it's down to Trent and Valen to try and keep this heartbeat still going. As EDG now with time on their side. Sit back in this post plant. You're right, confidence is still very much there. Doubled up towards Sand. Looking like they want to try and get a fight on this. G2's fallen, and G2 again, another step.
That's one of those moments actually where the overconfidence ends up punishing them. There's a 2v2 where they've got great post-plant control. They know that G2 are going to be swinging our rafters, and they just decide to go for the wide swing double peak. And get punished for it. G2 are already posted on the angles. The problem is I have so much difficulty believing that they're not going to tighten that up at some point.
Yeah.
And even in this round, it's such a beautiful fault line that comes through there. As Simon is throwing a cross-map fault line to be able to set up his lurker for a kill on the opposite side of the map. Simon's util.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Golf claps all around.
I mean, that's sarcastic tone of voice as well from Trent. It's, you know, he's not genuinely believing in the comeback yet.
Don't ruin my illusion. Let me think they're loving it. They believe. Round by round. This could be where it all goes to pieces as well. Sheriff, Stingers, and oh my, George.
What the hell is going on?
You don't get to see Jorg making mistakes often, but that was certainly one, making an absolute meal of it. Trent, Valen, and Leaf now at a numbers disadvantage. Plants in, Simon gonna get away as well. Okay, but clearing sight. You get to step forward, clearing dish. They kind of know, or should know, these post-plant positions and can hazard a guess at it, but they still have to dig them out.
Oh, they do just clear it before Leaf gets his toes caught.
Okay, nice bit of stall. Starting to get a bit nervous now, especially with Chi-Chu's reposition. Does get seen, but they're still making a go of it. Down to just Trent now. Is this how you go down with a whimper? It might just be EDG living up to their legacy with a monstrous 13.